I'm Rich Thomason. Senate Republicans have left Washington for their Memorial Day break without voting on a roughly $70 billion bill to fund immigration enforcement. They leave town amid Republican disagreement over a $1.8 billion fund to compensate those who claim persecution by the Biden Department of Justice. President Trump says the U.S. will be sending an additional 5,000 troops to Poland. The move comes as 5,000 American troops are pulled out of Germany. Secretary of State Rubio talking about US-Cuba policy and what could come next.
Trump administration officials have previously alluded to the possibility of military action against Cuba, but Marco Rubio's latest remarks will take on added weight after the murder charges leveled against Raul Castro. Casting doubt on a diplomatic outcome, Mr. Rubio said the Trump administration was both very serious and very focused on changing the Cuban regime. His comments follow a build-up of U.S. military might in the region, with the USS Nimitz aircraft carrier and 3 escort warships arriving in the Caribbean Sea in recent days.
The BBC's Joel Gunter in Washington. Secretary of State Rubio is in Sweden now. He'll be addressing a NATO foreign ministers meeting. President Trump has blasted the alliance for not lending a hand in the Iran war. There's also a great deal of uncertainty about the future U.S. role in the NATO alliance. Democratic National Committee Chair Ken Martin has released a study that's critical of the party's performance in the 2024 campaign. Among other things, the so-called autopsy cites a persistent inability or unwillingness to listen to all voters. Looks like a soggy Memorial Day weekend is in store across the east and the southeast, mostly sunny and dry across the west and the Midwest. NASCAR icon Kyle Busch has died at the age of 41. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Hey, I'm Kirk Cameron. Is health insurance eating up your budget for 2026? If you're looking for ways to better steward your finances, consider this: Christian Healthcare Ministries. It's a health insurance alternative at half the cost. Join CHM today by visiting chministries.org/wellness. While insurance companies tell you when to join, what to pay, and where to go, CHM is different. As a ministry, CHM allows you to share the burden of medical bills with other Christians. You can enroll, switch programs, or leave at any time. Christian Healthcare Ministries. It's a world of difference. CHM has 4 flexible programs. You can pick any certified doctor, surgeon, or hospital that you want for eligible care. So make the switch. Take your paycheck back from health insurance this year. Join CHM today by visiting chministries.org/wellness. That's chministries.org/wellness.
A top UN court is siding with workers when it comes to the right to strike.
The International Court of Justice was asked in 2023 by the International Labour Organization to settle an internal dispute over whether one of the UN agency's conventions gives workers the right to strike. Now the UN's top court has issued a landmark advisory opinion that says the right to strike is protected by a cornerstone labour treaty. Advisory opinions aren't legally binding but carry significant weight. The decision could have a worldwide impact on labour regulation by enshrining the right to strike in labour standards and international trade agreements. I'm Charles de Ledesma.
The official overseeing the U.S.-brokered Gaza ceasefire is urging the UN Security Council to use every means at its disposal to press Hamas to disarm, warning that all violence in the Palestinian territory risks unraveling the agreement. Townhall.com. The NASCAR world, fans and fellow drivers alike are mourning the passing of 41-year-old Kyle Busch. The legendary NASCAR driver died just hours after being hospitalized with a severe illness.
Other drivers have been reacting with shock on social media. Busch is a 2-time Cup Series champion who won more races than anyone across NASCAR's 3 national series. He'd reportedly been struggling with a sinus cold and on May 10th radioed his crew at Watkins Glen to request a doctor meet him after the race. He went on to win the Truck Series at Dover Speedway on May 15th. His family, Richard Childress Racing, and NASCAR issued a joint statement on his death, saying our entire NASCAR family is heartbroken by the loss. I'm Jennifer King.
Following yesterday's gains, we could see more of the same today on Wall Street. The Dow futures are up 154 points. NASDAQ futures better by 95 points. More on these stories at townhall.com.
All right, folks, I need you to do something right now. Go to johnfredericksradio.com and take our brand new 2028 Republican presidential straw poll. Who do you want leading the ticket? Don't let the elites decide. Make your voice heard. While you're there, weigh in on two huge issues: eminent domain reform and President Trump's tariff policies. Are they protecting American workers or hurting growth? This is your movement, your vote, your voice, your choice. Go to johnfredericksradio.com right now and take the poll.
For the first time ever, we're bringing you My Pillow mattresses and mattress toppers for as low as $99.98. Remember, sleep's all about temperature and pressure points. Whatever sleep needs you have, we have the right technology for you. Like our My Pillow mattress topper, our queen size has over 10,000 individual comfort supports to help relieve your pressure points. And how about our 3-inch Hybrid Plus mattress topper? It's infused with copper and silver to help your body get the restorative sleep it needs. And our My Pillow and Case Coil mattresses, I personally helped develop these mattresses to make sure they have everything needed to give us great sleep. Plus, they're made right here in the USA, and they ship right to your front door, absolutely free.
Go to MyPillow.com or call 800-854-0504 and use promo code Godzilla to get MyPillow mattresses and toppers for as low as $99.98 and free shipping.
How much did you win at Rosie's Gaming Emporium?
Hi, I'm Jerry from Richmond. I won a $23,000 jackpot at Rosie's.
I'm Tammy. I'm from Newport News, and I just won a $5,400 jackpot from Rosie's.
Hi, my name is Kim, and I'm from West Virginia, and I won $99,000 jackpot at Rosie's.
Are you ready? Learn more about Rosie's rewards and jackpots at rosiesgaming.com. Must be 18 or older. Problem gambling? Call 1-888-532-3500.
Hey folks, Al Green here for SatPhone. When you're on the go, you want to know you're connected. If it's a family vacation or an off-the-grid escape to a remote destination, having reliable communication helps you feel safe and secure. You can't afford to find yourself in a dead zone. That's why you need SatPhone. SatPhones are reliable, durable, and give you global coverage. If you can get outside, you can get in touch. It's that simple. Make calls from your SatPhone to any regular cell phone in the United States. The phones are a $1,500 value, but you can get yours free. Just sign up for a 15-month plan, $94.95 a month. Get 150 minutes monthly that roll to the next month. Go 3 months without using them, that's fine. Yes, 3 months, 450 minutes, all yours. Visit SAT123.com or call 855-980-5830. SAT123.com, 855-980-5830. Get surety and security with your SatPhone. Call now.
What if those who were once called conspiracy theorists turn out to be right again? A new study by Korean doctors claimed that COVID vaccines raise the risk of 6 cancers, including lung, breast, and prostate. Researchers analyzed health records from more than 8.4 million adults between 2021 and 2023, and their findings were published in Biomarker Research, a respected scientific journal. Critics dismiss it, but the data raises concern that spike protein exposure may be tied to long-term health risks. And Dr. Peter McCullough has been aware of this since 2020, which is why he collaborated with the wellness company to create Ultimate Spike Detox, designed to help your body clear spike proteins, reduce inflammation, and support heart health. With natural ingredients like nattokinase, dandelion root, and bromelain, it is your daily proactive defense from a man-made virus. Don't wait until symptoms strike or something unexpected happens. Experience the only formula approved and used by Dr. McCullough, one of the top doctors who risked it all. Go to twc.health/Godzilla. That's twc.health/Godzilla and use promo code Godzilla to get 10% off plus free shipping.
Happy Friday morning, listening family. This is the John Fredericks Media Network. I'm Dan Hobgood. Time for a look at weather and sports. Pro tip, keep an umbrella handy to start the holiday weekend here. We'll start with where I am in Richmond, Virginia, where Binghamton crushed the Flying Squirrels last night, 9-2. The two teams will face off again starting at 7:05 tonight, if they can. A high today in Richmond of 61 with showers. A low tonight of 55 with showers. And right now the temperature is 56 degrees with light rain. Moving on to the nation's capital. The Mets topped the Nats yesterday for a split in that series. The Nats will travel to Atlanta for the weekend starting tonight. High in D.C. of 60 and rainy. a low of 53 and still rainy. And right now the temperature is 57 degrees and it's raining. Well, Atlanta, you should be happy today. The Braves won their series against Miami with a 9-3 victory yesterday. You have a high today of 80 degrees with possible storms, a low of 67 tonight, still with possible storms. Right now the temperature is 71 degrees. First pitch against the Nats at 7:15 tonight. At least that's when it's scheduled. We'll see what happens. Nashville, you're looking at a high today of 73 with storms, a low of 66 degrees with more storms. Right now the temperature is 68 in Middle Tennessee. Well, Philadelphia, your Phils will welcome Cleveland to town for the weekend. First pitch tonight between the two teams at 6:40 p.m. High in the meantime of 65 degrees with showers, a low of 51 tonight and rainy, so that might get in the way of the ball game. Right now the temperature is 58 degrees. Morgantown, you're looking at a high of 61 with rain, a low of 53, stormy tonight. Right now the temperature is 55 degrees. Say what? The Buccos won a series against the Cards? Wow. Okay. Well, the Pirates will continue their road trip this weekend, becoming passport bros against Toronto. First pitch, 7:07, a very specific 7:07 first pitch tonight up in Canada for those two teams. A high in Pittsburgh today of 64 with some rain, a low of 50 with some more rain. Right now, the temperature in the 412 is 54 degrees. The Montreal Canadiens take Game 1 against Carolina in the NHL Eastern Conference Final last night. ESPN is reporting that the LA Rams and Matt Stafford, that would be NFL MVP Matt Stafford, agree to a one-year extension worth $55 million. Nice work if you can get it. And we end today's sports report on a sad note. NASCAR icon Kyle Busch, dead at 41 following a severe illness. His family did not list a specific cause of death, but we here at the John Fredericks Media Network extend our condolences to his loved ones and his legion of loyal fans. Bringing you today's weather and sports update is the Godzilla Wins radio show. For the best insight, analysis, and picks, watch and listen to Godzilla Wins tomorrow morning, as a matter of fact, from 9 to 11, all across the John Fredericks Media Network. Plus, to get John's daily sports picks, go to GodzillaWins.com. Once again, that's GodzillaWins.com. This has been Dan Hobgood for the John Fredericks Media Network. Outside the Box with the Ox is next, followed by The John Fredericks Show. Last show of the week, folks, before the holiday weekend. Stay tuned.
KFGO Radio Fargo headline: Moorhead parents arrested after middle school students became ill from eating THC. Charged with felonies. Kids taken away by the county social services. The cops say 10 students got sick Monday at school when they ate candy given to them by these parents' kid, whom it's assumed brought it from home. As an aside, is got sick now the euphemistic way to say we're high?
I'm so wasted!
Whatever, this may be the first time we've seen something like this after the Democrats rammed through a 1,000+ page law legalizing pot food, and yes, pot candy. Despite it taking years to implement because of the convoluted way the law was crafted, somehow it was fine after all this deliberation to allow and encourage and even subsidize the packaging of this stuff in candy-like pouches. Inside, candies identical to those gumdrops Grandma gave us, even coated with granules of sugar, but still listed by the federal government as a Schedule I controlled substance. Well, what do you think is going to happen? So now, local police admonish students to never accept candy, food, or drinks from anyone, even friends. Let that sink in for a sec. No more classroom parties unless everyone brings their own candy. Halloween's out.
No more fun of any kind!
And from outside the box, while the Democrats go apoplectic on mandating gun safes for all guns at home, now gummy safes too? But they're the ones who told us they're harmless and made them legal. Here outside the box with the Ox in the Eastern Time Zone and now in West Virginia on the John Fredericks Media Network.
John Fredericks.
It is the most egregious thing I've seen in a lifetime.
President Trump.
The whole thing is ridiculous.
When politics start getting wild.
They want to have every single thing that you don't want. Raise taxes, men and women's sports. They're going to open up their border.
Trump hits the speed dial.
Thank you for calling in on such short notice.
You came first, John.
Wake up with the John Fredericks Show weekday morning, 6 Eastern, 5 Central on JFMN.TV, the massive J-Fred radio network, and all across the socials.
You came first, John. Thank you very much, and you do a great job.
Right now. Download the new WV Sports Nation app from the Apple Store or Google Play and get the entire Mountaineers sports world in the palm of your hand. Right now. Get notified when new stories drop about your favorite Mountaineers teams and athletes. Download the WV Sports Nation app right now. Get updates on next level Mountaineers like Weatherholt and Joe Mazzulla. All that and more right in your pocket right now. Download the new WV Sports Nation app from the Apple Store or Google Play. Download the app right now.
Live from the studios of the John Fredericks Media Network, it's the John Fredericks Show. Grab yourself a cup of 1775 coffee, sit back and get ready for the best 4 hours of talk radio in the universe. You can call our toll-free number at 888-480-5646 to talk to John. And now, here's the Godzilla of truth, the Oracle of the deplorables, the man who is 6 months to a year ahead of everyone but God himself, John Fredericks.
Well, TGIF, Memorial Day weekend. Thanks for joining us today. I'm John Fredericks, your host, your Godzilla of the truth in America, your Oracle of the deplorables. Well, should be a little spring in your step today. President Trump, again, I tell you what he's doing is unbelievable. I've never seen anything like this. Winning every primary right and left, getting rid of the rhinos. Now we've got John Thune basically on the ropes. And you heard yesterday, Jimmy Petronis, I thought was one of the better, best congressmen in there, said, hey, if Thune doesn't get his act together and get this SAVE Act passed, there's going to be a coup and he's going to get toppled. And like it can't come a moment too soon. Of course, once again, we get all of the Republicans going out of town, leaving for the weekend, unfinished business, budget's not passed, money not funded. It's just the same old thing. And of course, the Republicans selling out with like the weak-kneed weasels they are because of the $1.7 billion fund that is supposed to go to people that have been victims of a Biden weaponized Department of Justice. And so it's a case-by-case basis. They should be able to apply for this. But we've got Republicans blasting it. I mean, it's just unbelievable how little gumption that so many of these Republicans have. I really don't get, like, why you're there. I mean, if you had to be that way, like, why are you there? Don't you have something else to do with your life that's a lot more fun? If you can't even stand behind your own set of party principles, what is the point? It's get out, retire. As Herman says, Coach Herman Edwards, you play to win a game. You don't want to win, get out. We'll have to play that clip coming up at 6:30, right? Can't get enough of that. But look, you got to play to win the game. That's the whole thing. And we just got to keep our shoulder to the wheel, lace them up and lace them tight. The thing I love about Memorial Day is we really get to honor those of us that have served us so well and keeping us safe and keeping us free. Now let's get to the Iran situation, and then we'll get to some local issues here. President Trump has got to do something now. This just can't go on. We're going to get over $5 a gallon gas. It's been reported. It's going to go over what Biden was. It's going to hit that magic number of 502. You just can't have this. So he's got to do something. And the problem with these threats and delays, all it does is buy Iran time to do what they're doing. We need to keep strangling them economically. We need to cut their money off from wherever it's getting laundered into them from around the globe. We need to open these straits with force now. We have the armada there. Open them with force. Take every island around them. Wipe them out. Open them. Make it free. Now Iran is trying to get a deal with Oman that those ships can go through, and they're going to pay a toll. So we're going to have to stop that. We're just going to have to stop it. And if we have to utilize our military, we're going to have to do that. But this constant, I'm going to do it, oh, there's a deal on the table, I'm not going to do it. And then the deal's ridiculous. There is no deal that we can ever make with these people until these straits are open. Open the straits, they have no leverage. The minute you open these straits, and I don't know how they're going to do it. All I know is we have the greatest military and the greatest Navy and the greatest Marines in the world. However you do it, do it. Because once that leverage from them is taken away, they have nothing. It's a failed regime. And they're never going to make a deal because they're never going to give up the one thing we went in there to get, which is their ability to, at some point in time, develop a nuclear weapon, which is their only leverage of life. That's why they exist. So they can wipe out Israel and threaten other countries and do what they do. These are religious fanatics that are crazy. You can't let them have a bomb, but you got to open up the straits, and you got to do it now. You can't go another month with this. This is all the Democrats have. You think about this, folks. What are the Democrats running on? They say they're running on affordability. What exactly are they going to do to bring down prices other than get out of this war and give Iran a bomb? Other than that, what are they going to do? Which, of course, in the midterms, they don't have any authority to do. So what are they going to do? What have they done? What is on their agenda? Look at the autopsy report that they put out. It's a joke. I mean, it's getting blasted from all sides. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But what are they offering you? Crime, squalor. I mean, what are they going to do? They have nothing. They're going to get in. They're going to get in office, impeach everybody, have a 2-year TV show, and then get run out of office again. So you're going to waste 2 years. They will do nothing, and there's no agenda, right? And the biggest, I tell you what, I talk about D.C. I love being here. We love living here. But you talk about what President Trump has done. The reason they hate D.C. and they hate what's going on here is because President Trump has proved in a year you can take the most decaying, urban, democratic, squalid crap hole and you can turn it in to Disneyland in a year. And that's what President Trump has done here. And this is why they're petrified of what is going on. And we got a candidate running for mayor, Janice Lewis George, who's running on a platform to stop Trump. Stop him from what? Keeping your city safe, clean, getting rid of the graffiti, fixing the pipes, fixing the roads, cleaning the parks, getting the homeless out, put them in shelters, get rid of the rats. What exactly are you going to free us from? Carjackings are down. Crime is down. Murders are down. Safety is up. People are out. It's spring. There's flowers. Kids are playing. What exactly are you going to free us from? The National Guard? National Guard is the greatest thing that's ever happened to this city as far as I'm concerned. I love seeing them. And I tell you what, if you come and visit here, I'm going to say it again. I'm going to actually put a video out on this today or tomorrow. All seriousness. You come to our beautiful city and you see the National Guard. I want you to do me a personal favor. I want you to go up to them. Each and every one of them, offer your hand, look them in the eye, and thank them for coming here and thank them for what they do. Because they've made a huge difference. These are young kids. Many could be our own kids. You know, they're all in their 20s. They're all National Guard. And I think they got probably better things to do with their time, but they're here to keep us safe. And they get a lot of abuse, verbal abuse, not from us, not from residents, but from those who come from Northern Virginia that live in gated communities with 2 masks on and then go back to their gated community with their wine and cheese and caviar party. That's who abuses them. Montgomery County, Maryland, not the residents. Now you look what's going on here with these gangs. We have a DC City Council led by Janice Lewis George, who's could be the mayoral nominee for the Dems, and of course whoever wins that's mayor. So we'll see what happens. I'd rather see Kenyon win. I'm a Republican. I don't get to participate in their primary, but much rather see Kenyon win than Janice. We'll see what happens. It's very, very close. But what are they doing? We've got gangs running around in the Navy Yard and other things. You saw what happened at Chipotle. These are young juveniles. They're all under 18. They gather. There's a gang. Now, we need a curfew. And the curfew's got to be 8 o'clock. And then you have no gatherings over 9 people. And if it is over 9, they get dispersed. And if they don't leave or they commit any crime against any property whatsoever, Jeanine Pirro, our U.S. attorney here in D.C., wants to hold the parents accountable with fines. And they have to appear with their children to get out of jail, juvenile detention. I mean, this is the only way you're going to stop this. And the D.C. Council's rejecting it. I mean, you're getting kids beat up. You can't get on the street. These are not criminals. These are juveniles. And the Democrats' answer is throw more money at it. Oh, we need, summer programs. It's not about summer programs. This is about kids being allowed to destroy property without their parents involved, running around in gangs, and hurting other kids. Well, you got to break this up. That's it. You go to National Harbor, which is where the MGM Casino is, and the Gaylord is, and other hotels. You go there as soon as you get in. There are massive signs: curfew, 6 p.m. Anybody under 18. 6 p.m. curfew. You will get picked up. End of story. Why? Because they need the tourist dollars, or the whole thing collapses there. So you go to MGM Grand, or you go to the casino there, or you go to one of the hotels, or you go to dinner. You don't want kids roaming the streets. So it says right there, 6 p.m., curfew under 18. You will be arrested. There's no gangs there. They enforce it. That's what we have to do here. And the problem the Democrats have is as the city gets better, and what President Trump has done here in D.C. to make it clean, safe, and beautiful, as it gets better, how do the Democrats react to this? This is the model for every city in America. When I considered running for mayor, which I decided not to for many, many reasons, but this would have been the platform. You can't win. It's not about winning here, right now, maybe someday, not now, but it's about telling America, here's what Trump has done in this city, and it can be done. And this is one of the most beautiful things about what the president has done. And I give it to John McGuire, Congressman, Virginia District, who's taken president's executive orders in Washington, D.C., and brought it to Congress and got it out of committee and got Democrat votes, because they don't want to walk down the street with their lives at risk either. So that's why he got Democrat votes to codify what the president has done. I'm going to have a town hall meeting on that after the election on June 16th. But this is the model. And with Jeanine Pirro here, you've got a U.S. attorney that's not messing around. People deserve to live in safety. They deserve to live where they choose and not have to look over, like Andy Ogle said. I walk down from where I live to the Capitol. I take my earbuds out. I take my headphones out. I put my phone away. I look around. Why? Because it's not safe. You got to be safe. That's job one. And these National Guardsmen have done a miraculous job. They really have. And they put their lives at risk because you never know what's going to happen. But they're out there every day. And the Metro, they've cleaned that up. I mean, we first got here. I've told this story. We first got here. I wouldn't let Ann ride that Metro ever. Like, take Uber, take a Lyft, take a cab. Do not get, and at night, you put your life in your hands. No way. Now, I can't remember the last time we took out we had to take the car out yesterday to get some of Joe's stuff out. I don't even know I have a car. We never go out. Metro, buses, trains, everything. Go to the games, Metro. Go to church, Metro. Go to dinner, Metro. Go to an event, Metro. Go out at night, Metro. And goes to the store at night, Metro. Doesn't matter. Either walk, CVS, wherever she goes, no crime. No safety issue. Goes out at night, does whatever she wants. This is what the National Guard have done. This is what coordinating the police have done. You go to the squares, whether it's McPherson or Farragut or wherever you go, Logan Circle, DuPont Circle. I mean, it's all cleaned up. Flowers, it's beautiful. It's playing. It's a wonderful thing to see. You didn't see that when Biden was here. All you saw was squalor, tents, drugs, people defecating on the sidewalk. I mean, it was just disgusting what the Democrats had allowed to happen here. Now that's gone. Now we have a clean and safe nation's capital going into our 250th birthday, and President Trump is sanctioning another 5,000 National Guardsmen here, another 5 for the summer. Keep it safe and beautiful for everyone around the world to see our capital city, the beacon of freedom in the world. That's why we're here every day, and that's why we fight for what we believe in. And gas prices are going to come down. Don't despair. They're going to come down. We got to open up the strait. Cuba's going to fall. They're going to collapse. We're going to go into these midterms. Gas is going to be under $2. The economy is going to be rolling. And all that's on the horizon. Iran is not going to have a bomb. You just got to trust in what they're doing right now. And I'm a total believer because I see the results. You don't see the results, I don't believe. We're getting the results. We're certainly seeing here in D.C. Hey, you want to get involved in my campaign? Come to my victory party June 16th, Tuesday, 6 to 9 p.m., City Tavern. Go to makedcgreat.com, makedcgreat.com. You can donate there. Tickets are $50. We got an open bar. We got food, so we got to pay for it. Morgan Griffith, Brandon Beach, Corey Lewandowski. Just go to makedcgreat.com, makedcgreat.com. Buy your ticket there, and I'll see you there on June 16th. Your calls when I get back. 888-480-JOHN.
Salty, we got a wonderful email from one of our customers up east named Joe, and here's what he had to say. I started taking Salty almost out of desperation with little hope because I was resigned to the futility that although I was up to taking 2 statins a day, high cholesterol was something I just had to learn to live with. In fact, when I turned 60, after taking a stress cardio test, my doctor called me on a Saturday, which of course is never a good sign, and told me that I was clogged more than 95% of the people my age. I had an angioplasty and a stent procedure done at that time. Today, my stubborn triglycerides are only 1/3 of what they had been before starting taking Sol-T. My prescription statin dosage has shrunk from 60 milligrams to only 10 milligrams a day. My primary care doctor that I have had for many years still can't believe the results, and neither can I. Thank you, Sol-T, for providing such a wonderful product. And folks, I want to invite you to take care of your heart also by going to GodzillaHeart.com. That's GodzillaHeart.com. Use the code Godzilla at checkout, and you'll get a 50% discount on your initial shipment. Thanks so much.
In 2008, the amount of concentrated time people could spend on a task without becoming distracted was 12 seconds. 5 years later, it was only 8 seconds, 1 second less than a goldfish. If you're often distracted or have trouble recalling information, you're likely to fall behind in the demanding, fast-paced 21st century. In other words, brain performance is more critical now than ever. Boost your brain power with Healthy Cells Focus Plus Recall. Science-backed nootropics to help you sharpen focus, concentrate longer, enhance recall, improve mental speed, learn rapidly, and be more alert. It's a pill-free brain supplement made with maximum absorption ingestible gel technology, designed to feed your brain at the cellular level. Take it for a test drive. Go to healthycell.com and use code GODZILLA for 20% off your first order of Focus Plus Recall. That's healthycell.com, code GODZILLA for 20% off.
Washington is wasting $500 million every year on a federal supervision system that doesn't work. Probation officers are overwhelmed. Resources are going to people who pose zero threat, while actual dangerous individuals slip through the cracks. The Safer Supervision Act stops the waste and refocuses every dollar on protecting families from harm. President Trump's own pollster found about 80% of Trump voters want this fixed. It's time for Congress to get this done. Stop the waste. Protect our communities. Visit safersupervision.com. Paid for by the Reform Action Fund.
Tired of fumbling for your phone, wallet, or keys? Don't put it in your pants, put it in your pocket. Meet T-Pocket, the practical tees, the shirt that keeps it all in reach. Designed in the USA, assembled in the South, these tees feature smart built-in pockets for easy access. Long sleeve, short sleeve, available in most colors, with your favorite teams and logos to come later. Shop the full lineup now at tpocket.net. Fast shipping, easy ordering. Grab yours today and level up your everyday carry. Put it in your pocket with T-Pocket. tpocket.net.
It's finally here, our second annual mega sale. This sale only comes around once a year, so take advantage of the best offers ever while you can. For example, save 50% on our Giza Dream bed sheets, as low as $29.98. And for the first time ever on TV, MyPillow mattresses and MyPillow mattress toppers as low as $99.98. And you save 50% on our Lux Pure 6-piece towel sets. Regular $69.98, now only $39.98. And our best-selling standard MyPillows, regular $49.98, on sale for $17.98. Wait on it, mega sale, only $14.98. But wait, there's more. To make the mega sale even more special, when you order right now, your order's going to ship absolutely free.
To take advantage of the second annual mega sale, go to mypillow.com or call 800-854-0504 and use promo code Godzilla.
You play to win the game. Hello? You play to win the game. You don't play to just play it. That's the great thing about sports. You play to win. And I don't care if you don't have any wins. You go play to win. When you start telling me it doesn't matter, then retire. Get out. Because it matters.
Don't touch that dial. You've found your home of the truth.
Do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
With the best analysis in America.
You can't handle the truth.
And now back to the John Fredericks Show.
Seem to be interested in the $1.8 billion fund. That clearly was a sticking point today up on Capitol Hill. Is there anyone that the president is reaching out to, making calls to? It's not going to be on his desk by June 1st, which I think is a deadline he had set earlier. So,
well, that's a good closing question, only because it allows me to say this, which is that we lived through 4 years of, more than 4 years actually, but I'll just say 4 years in this case, of unimaginable weaponization of the federal government against innocent people. We've had so many lives, again, it really goes back, so I would say further, but so many lives destroyed, so many livelihoods ruined, so many people who were deprived of their fundamental rights and freedoms as American citizens, and this settlement is just a small measure of the justice that they are owed. Anyways, thank you all for your time.
How are the Iran talks going?
I guess for every loser's analysis of the loss, there's a winner's analysis of the win. When you see this, Stephen, does it mesh with how you guys analyze the win?
Well, I think the big thing that we're missing here in all of this is this wasn't a normal election between two different parties and candidates. This was the culmination of a 4-year effort to outlaw the political opposition party in this country and put the Republican candidate and the Republican president of the United States behind bars. The major feature of this election campaign was a years-long effort to disqualify President Trump from the ballot. Remember, Colorado even did, in fact, remove him from the ballot. An effort to incarcerate his senior officials and advisors, to criminalize support for President Trump, to financially bankrupt, blacklist, deplatform the 501c3s, 501c4s, political action committees, and others supporting President Trump, and again, put President Trump behind bars for multiple life terms. That's what President Trump fought against and overcame to become president. He won the election for many reasons, but most importantly of all is the fact that in spite of all of these injustices, witch hunts, hoaxes, and persecutions, the American people sided with fundamentally an agenda that puts Americans first, and they rejected the third world politics and policies of the Democrat Party. The major political dividing line in America today is between a first world vision of America and a third world vision of America. We see these politics playing out over and over again in every race all across this country. Look what's happening in Los Angeles right now. It's an entire mayoral campaign built on this issue. So we'll see. Is there a majority or a plurality of voters in Los Angeles that want to live in a first world city or want to live in a third world city? We'll find out. But that's what plays out. Those are the battle lines of every conflict in this country every single day. Do we lock up violent offenders or do we let them rape and pillage innocent citizens? Do we incarcerate and jail Somali refugees who steal all of our welfare money, or do we empower them to keep stealing? Do we have an open border flooded with migrants from the third world, or do we have a sealed, secure border? Do we have a jury system in this country in the English tradition that is fair and impartial and honest, or is our criminal justice system like so many third world countries where we simply incarcerate people because we don't like the tribe that they're in? Those are the dividing lines. Americans in 2024 said we want to be a first world country again. We don't want to be a third world country anymore. We want Donald Trump to make America safe, strong, free, prosperous again.
Okay, Stephen Miller, rocking and rolling, did a gaggle yesterday, and then did that hit, and he's back, and so are we. And I tell you what, this is what the choice is going to be. This is why I'm so optimistic. All the Democrats have is gas prices. And when that ends, you got to ask yourself, what on earth are they going to run on? Spanberger, what she did, what are they going to run on? This is why I'm so bullish on the midterms, because this war is going to end, and then gas prices are going to plummet lower than before because our oil production has gone up and we're getting more and more regulation. So it's going to be better than ever. So we just got to get these straits open and get this thing done. And we're not that far from doing it. Therefore, seeds my optimism about going into the midterms and going into Tuesday, where Paxton becomes the nominee of the Republicans, and Paxton's going to win Texas. And I'm on the Paxton train, have been from day one, because he represents MAGA 2.0, and we have to start looking beyond President Trump simply because he's not going to be here forever. And so the movement has to carry itself without our leader. And this is going to take planning and effort, boots on the ground, lace them up and lace them tight. The rhinos are going to try to take over, but we're getting rid of them one by one in a huge way. Now, the last of these are in the Senate, but all of those that are whining right now, they're all going. Tillis, McConnell, the whole bunch of them, they're going. So Cornyn, good riddance. Don't let the door hit you in the keister on the way out. Here's your hat. What's your hurry? This is the basis of my optimism, why I'm such a happy warrior, because I can see ahead. I know what's coming down the pike, and they are going to get crushed again. Wait till I show you some of these clips of these people that are running, that they can't get away from this. They can't get away. And their hero, Mandami, is a communist. This is basically what they're running on. 888-480-JOHN. Okay, before I get to the phone calls, we've got Steve in Virginia. We've got Joe in Chesapeake. Hang on. Because Dan, it's Friday, TGIF. Big 3-day weekend coming up, Danny. Best of on Monday. See you Tuesday. Don't call, don't send flowers. Now, Dan, before I get to these callers, I'm going to have my first sip of my first freshly brewed cup of 1775 coffee, the official coffee of the John Fredericks Show. Hang on. Damn, that is some good coffee right there. That might be the best coffee ever. This might be the best cup of coffee ever. Hang on again. 1775, baby. Yeah, we got you. Yeah, we got you. One cup, you're done. Yep. Just order once, we got you. You'll never go back. Just go to 1775coffee.com, promo code Godzilla. 1775coffee.com, promo code Godzilla. 10% off, fresh roasted, daily from Bolivia. Unbelievable. It really is good. Plus, they do stand for something, freedom. But beyond that, it's good coffee. You know, Joe came home yesterday. We got him in. I had to take out the car. And he goes, he had stuff, laptops and stuff he had to take home. He's got to go back there every day for rehab, but he's metro 10 stops away on the metro, 20, 15 stops, whatever it is. So we get him home, gets in there about 4:15, right? What do you think the first thing he does? Goes over to the coffee maker, the Keurig, and says, "Dad, where's the coffee?" It's right up there in the cabinet. Gets it out. He's like, "Well, I want the 1775. I'm like, "Well, son, that's all we have." Boom. First thing he does, pops that coffee in, takes a sip of it. He's like, "Damn, Dad, I forgot how good this coffee was." Telling you, we got you. Just go to 1775coffee.com, promo code Godzilla. Boom. We got you. 10% off. Fresh roasted daily from Bolivia. This is why it's so good. All right, let's get to the phone lines on this happy Friday. Yes, Dan, happy Friday, baby. Line 1, Steve Areno in Virginia. Steve, go ahead.
Happy Friday, Chairman Fredericks.
Thank
for
you.
taking my call.
Yep.
Shakespeare wrote in Hamlet that brevity is the soul of wit. And as you know, I'm not particularly witty when I call you, but I'll try to make this brief. The other day we were talking, and you just mentioned again about the money that's being put up by Trump to help people who were, persecuted
Right.
because of January 6th
Right.
and all of that. And I had mentioned that there's officers out there Capitol Police officers who have said that things didn't happen the way the media portrayed it. And one of those people is Lieutenant Tariq Johnson. He was interviewed about 3 years ago by the Daily Signal, and a name that came up pretty often is Yogananda Pittman when it comes to how screwy things were that day for the Capitol Police. But anyway, so that's that. When you mentioned that Ann can go out and do all of these things, and you said that we deserve to be safe. Well, it's not just deserving to be safe. We have a right to be safe, and government has the responsibility to make sure that they enact the policies, the laws to make sure that we are safe. And that's one of the reasons why we put people in office and we pay the taxes that we do.
Right.
So, that's the other thing. Yesterday, you said you were wondering, why is it that Jewish people vote for Democrats who are basically, doing everything to
Right.
enable,
Right.
a lot of anti-Semitism towards, and it's like, and that's a question that has bothered me for a long time too. But when I was thinking about it after you mentioned it yesterday, I thought it's the same thing with the black community in that they vote for Democrats who don't have their best interests at heart. So why do they do it?
Different. It's different. It's totally different. I get you're trying to make the analogy.
Really?
Yeah, it's totally different because Democrats, their policies are bad for the African American community. Their policies are bad, right? They keep them in a perpetual poverty in order to get their votes. But Democrats aren't saying they should be put in internment camps. Okay, Democrats aren't saying they should be killed in Israel, in Gaza, on that murderous that October 7th. Democrats aren't saying that. Their policies, one can say, are enslaving them to a life of poverty. But the difference here is you have Democratic candidates that are anti-Semitic, that are pro-Palestinian, that celebrated October 7th, that are running for Congress and saying Jews should be put in camps. That's the difference. And yet, you have Madami got Jewish votes for mayor, that hates the Jews and wants nothing to do with them and is pro-Palestinian and had no problem with October 7th. I'm alleging here. I don't know what's in his heart. But that's the difference. I mean, if you're a Jew and you're voting for the Democrats, like Ed Koch said, see a psychiatrist. Like, there's something wrong with you because they want you to be in a camp. I mean, what is wrong with you? The African American thing is just the policies are horrible, but they certainly don't say that. But Steve, thank you. I kind of understand the analogy. Got to move on. Steve, have a super weekend. Thank you for your campaign donation. Steve, we'll see you soon. Joe, Chesapeake, Virginia. Joe, you're live. Go.
Yes, Joe Key in Chesapeake. Thanks for taking my call.
Sure, Joe.
You started off talking about the people in leadership not doing what they should supposed to do. I would request that the listeners get a pencil and paper and write down what I'm going to tell them. The Freedom Index is where you can find information based on how the congressmen are voted in relation to constitutional requirements. Mm-hmm. And I have one, Jim Kiggins from the 2nd District of Virginia, who has an average of somewhere around 40%. That means 60% for unconstitutional items, which is usually democratic. Freedom Index. Look it up and follow it. There's no better standard to go by. Thank you for your time.
Thanks, Joe. Go to the Freedom Index and you can follow your candidates there. Freedom Index. Okay. Sounds good. Let's get to cut 3 here. Here's Ralph Norman, the congressman. He's also running for governor. And then I got a theory on Nancy Mace. Let me write that down or I'll forget it. Here's Ralph Norman. He said January 6th was a staged thing made up by members who hate Trump. The first time I've heard a Republican congressman actually say this. Cut 3. Take a listen.
To those funds, people who assaulted police.
Look, January 6th is an issue that was made up in the first place.
People were convicted of assaulting police.
Well, I know that was a staged thing from day one.
What about it?
January
The riot was
staged. When you had police officers letting people in the building, when you had people that's not being prosecuted, Ray, I forget his name, there's no excuse for that.
Your colleagues, though, your Republican colleagues, ran for their life and barricaded themselves in their chamber. Do you think they were acting?
No, there was a riot there, but it was a self-made riot by members who hate Trump. It was made up, in my opinion.
He said it. It was made up. Ray Epps, cops letting people in. This is the first time a congressman has said this. It was made up, he said. He was right. I think it was made up. Now we're going to get back. They want to get back to January 6th. They have no plans, no policies, no solutions. They have nothing. The Democrats have nothing but gas prices. And now they're going back to J6, which has failed over and over and over. But now they got to go back to that. The riot, MAGA, this, that, all this. Norman, it was like the whole thing was staged, lady. It was staged. You know it and I know it. Own up. So good for Norman for standing up to that. Meantime, you've got, I want to get to cut 2 here. This is Michael Steele. He used to be the Republican chairman until he got ousted by Reince Priebus. Now he gets money from the Democrats for being a never Trumper. The beat goes on. Let's get to 2 here. Here's Steele questioning the logic from the Democrats releasing this autopsy report on their failed 2024 campaign. And of course, the Democrats are going crazy over it because they didn't want it released. And the guy that wrote it, the people that wrote it basically said the party's a disaster. And of course, they're trying to get away from it. Then they had to release it. Then they didn't want to release it. Then they did release it. Michael Steele, all upset over it. This is causing some hand-wringing amongst the elites in the DNC. Cut 2, take a look.
Finish you. We got to jump across this table. Just know.
Because I don't understand why y'all can't get out of your own way. This is a report that should have been released at the time because what I've just heard from you is nothing in that report has changed from the day it was first released to the day. So if you've changed nothing, if you've not cleaned it up, if you've not made it better, if you've not answered the constituent questions within the DNC, why are you doing this today? And why has the chairman or anyone else in the leadership decided to take away the momentum? We are wasting a segment of this hour talking about something other than the things you leveled up, which is what you've been doing and communicating with the American people to move them to the point where you have won 37 special elections.
Yes.
So why are you getting in your own way with a report that don't amount to a bucket of spit in terms of your ability to win this November? We are watching this administration strip mine the American economy, strip mine the kitchen tables of the American people. And the party is sitting here talking about a report that no one cares about, your own words. Right. So help me understand why, to Simone's first point, why get it out of the way. I wouldn't release the thing at all at this point because it furthers nothing for the Democrats when the president and Republicans are saying, you know what you've done? You've given Republicans now something to talk about.
I don't disagree with you, Michael. And that's why in the statement I released, I said, it's happened. And so I have to take the position whether we should or shouldn't have. I deal in reality. It's happened.
Right.
Now, I'll go back to agreeing with you. And that's why in my statement I was very clear. We can't let this consume or distract us.
That's right.
Because nobody is calling us about that. And this is why it was important for me to be here to say, I don't disagree with you. But it's been released.
What momentum? What momentum were they talking about? They are going to get crushed again. They've learned nothing. These special elections, I have come now to believe, are just an aberration. Here's the biggest mistake they made. You want to know what it is? Virginia. It's the biggest mistake. And I'm not talking about Spamberger. I'm talking about jamming that referendum in everybody's throat. It's the biggest mistake they made because I'm to say this 100 times, they poked the bear. And now we got MAGA voters turning out everywhere in droves. So they got pissed. They went from staying home, not caring, to going out and voting in a off-cycle election in April where nobody was on the ballot with confusing language in a referendum, and they turned out in record numbers. And then they did it again the next week in Indiana. And then they're going to do it in Texas. And then they did it in Kentucky. And they're going to keep doing it. This is their problem. They're not running on anything meaningful. It is all nonsense. All they've got, I'm telling you, and people don't care about J6. It's all nonsense. They don't care about the ballroom. Like, nobody cares about this stuff. They care about one thing, gas. That's what they're running on, gas. That's it. The problem is when you run on one thing and that thing doesn't work anymore, you got nowhere to go. This is why they're rooting for Iran. They need this war to continue. They don't want a settlement. They don't want a peace. They want body bags coming home. This is the only way they get power. They're running on one thing, the price of gas. Once that collapses, and look, inflation's tamed. Gas has brought everything up. Once that's down, what on earth are they going to run on? Boys and girls' bathrooms? What is their agenda? Anti-Semitism? Lock up Jews? I mean, what is their policy that is going to make your life better? It's what I keep asking here in D.C. Janice, tell me one thing that you're going to do that is going to make Ann and I and Joe's life better here in the district. Name one thing. What is going to be better? Well, we're going to get rid of the National Guard. How does that make my life better? It makes me less safe. I can't take the metro. I can't let Ann go to the store on it. What exactly are you going to do to make my life better? You have no answer. No answer to mine or anybody in any other ward in this city. And this is where they are so vulnerable. And they've got one thing, gas. One issue. And it's big. And it could turn the tide for them. But it's not, because once gas goes from $5 to $1.95, we're going to get crushed. It's going to be a beautiful thing to watch. Just watch him go down in flames and laugh your ass off. You're on the John Fredericks Media Network, trucking the truth across America. We'll be right back with your calls, 888-480-JOHN.
WJFN W224EB 92.7 FM Chester, W299DB 107.7 Barnaire, 100.5 FM Goochland, and WJFB Portsmouth.
Breaking news this hour from Town Hall. I'm Rich Thomason. President Trump says past U.S. presidents have for decades considered actively intervening in Cuba. But in Mr. Trump's words, it looks like I'll be the one that does it. Secretary of State Rubio says the administration would like to resolve differences with Cuba peacefully, but he doubts the U.S. can reach diplomatic resolution with the island's communist regime. Having arrived in Sweden, Secretary Rubio will be addressing a NATO foreign ministers meeting. President Trump has sharply criticized the alliance for not helping out in the Iran war. There's also a good deal of uncertainty about the future U.S. role in the NATO alliance. The president says the U.S. will be sending another 5,000 troops to Poland. The move comes as 5,000 American troops are pulled out of Germany. It's a lengthy prison sentence for a Minnesota woman, the center of a massive fraud scandal. It ripped off taxpayers to the tune of hundreds of millions of dollars.
In what is billed by officials as the largest COVID-19 fraud scheme in the country, Amy Bach has been sentenced to nearly 42 years in prison. Bach ran Feeding Our Future and was convicted in a staggering $250 million fraud case that helped ignite an immigration crackdown in Minnesota by the Trump administration. After the sentencing, authorities held a news conference to announce charges against 15 more people accused of fraud in receiving federal payments for a variety of social services administered through Minnesota's state government. I'm Lisa Dwyer.
A NASCAR icon is dead. Kyle Busch was just 41 years old. Two-time Cup Series champ, he won more races than anyone across NASCAR's 3 national series. His family says Busch died after being hospitalized. On Wall Street, Dow futures up 114, NASDAQ futures ahead 19 points. More on these stories at townhall.com.
If you're considering investing in precious metals, don't wait. The Iranian conflict seems to be nearing an end, and the time is now to position your retirement for massive growth. Advantage Gold is America's #1 precious metals company, and they want to send you a free gold and silver investor guide valued at $49 when you call 800-900-8000. Plus, you'll get a free copy of economist Ken Rogoff's book, Our Dollar, Your Problem. Our specialists can help you open a new account or transfer funds from an existing IRA, tax and penalty free, and show you how a gold-backed IRA can put real, tangible assets into your retirement portfolio. Markets react to news cycles, but gold has maintained its value through inflation, volatility, and economic uncertainty. When the purchasing power of the dollar declines, that's when investors turn to gold and silver. Make your move now. Call Advantage Gold at 800-900-8000. Results may vary. Consult your financial advisor before investing. Call 800-900-8000. That's 800-900-8000.
British police are asking witnesses to come forward in their investigation of alleged wrongdoing by former Prince Andrew, charge of the late Jeffrey Epstein.
Thames Valley Police also said they had been in contact with lawyers for a woman who alleges she was taken to a location in Windsor for sexual purposes in 2010. A police statement said if she wishes to report this to police, it will be taken seriously and handled with care, sensitivity and respect for her privacy. Police are calling for anyone with information about alleged sexual offences, corruption, fraud or the sharing of confidential information to come forward. The 66-year-old former prince was arrested in February and questioned under criminal caution on suspicion of misconduct in public office related to his role as a British trade envoy. I'm Lawrence Brooks.
People have set fire to an Ebola treatment center in one of the towns at the heart of the outbreak in eastern Congo. Fear and anger growing over the health crisis there. News and analysis, townhall.com. Judge clears the deck of all charges against a former school administrator in a school shooting case.
Ebony Parker was accused of ignoring warnings about a 6-year-old with a gun.
The judge ruled Thursday that the actions of Parker did not constitute a crime. The charges against the former assistant principal stemmed from a July 2023 shooting at Rich Neck Elementary School in Newport News, Virginia. Teacher Abby Zwerner was wounded. A grand jury indictment charged Parker with 8 felony counts of child neglect, each carrying a potential 5-year sentence. Parker's defense argued she was unaware the child had a gun. Keith Peters, Washington.
Forecasters predicting a developing El Nino could dampen the upcoming Atlantic hurricane season, but it will not completely erase the chance of violent weather. NOAA's forecasting a below-average season, fewer named storms and hurricanes. More on these stories, townhall.com.
All right, folks, I need you to do something right now. Go to johnfredericksradio.com and take our brand new 2028 Republican presidential straw poll. Who do you want leading the ticket? Don't let the elites decide. Make your voice heard. While you're there, weigh in on 2 huge issues: eminent domain reform and President Trump's tariff policies. Are they protecting American workers or hurting growth? This is your movement, your vote, your voice, your choice. Go to johnfredericksradio.com right now and take the poll. President Trump is already transforming Washington, D.C., making it the safest, cleanest, and most beautiful city in the world. But we need fighters on the ground to keep it going. I'm John Fredericks, and I'm running for chairman of D.C. GOP Ward 2 to make sure Trump's vision for this city becomes a reality. Safe streets, clean neighborhoods, and yes, rat-free. Go to MakeDCGreat.com. That's MakeDCGreat.com right now and send a donation. Let's finish what President Trump started. Donation limit $200. I'm John Fredericks, and I paid for this ad.
Wendy Bell.
Dr. Robert Redfield, on the CIA whistleblower who fingered Fauci as being the lightning rod behind one of the largest and deadliest frauds in world history.
That's true. I think he misled the American public because the last thing the scientific community wanted was the public to realize that it was really the science that actually led to this pandemic.
Bill Gates, Bono, Obama praising Fauci for working on a virus that killed 20 million people.
Wendy Bell, weeknights at 6 on the John Fredericks Media Network.
1775 Coffee is giving away free starter kits. Try the dark or medium roast coffee with longevity blend, an infused blend with anti-aging calcium alpha-ketoglutarate, which has been clinically proven to reduce biological age. When you purchase the first 2 bags, you'll receive a free 1775 starter kit, including a third 16-ounce bag of coffee, a matte black tumbler, a frother, a gold scoop, or a reusable K-cup filter. Just order now at 1775coffee.com/Godzilla and claim your free 1775 starter kit while supplies last.
Washington is wasting $500 million every year on a federal supervision system that doesn't work. Probation officers are overwhelmed. Resources are going to people who pose zero threat, while actual dangerous individuals slip through the cracks. The Safer Supervision Act stops the waste and refocuses every dollar on protecting families from harm. President Trump's own pollster found about 80% of Trump voters want this fixed. It's time for Congress to get this done. Stop the waste. Protect our communities. Visit safersupervision.com. Paid for by the Reform Action Fund.
When you're learning something new, experience matters. At Lifestyles Unlimited, we've spent over 30 years teaching people how real estate investing works and how to build income with a clear, step-by-step strategy. Our program is designed to help you learn what to do, why it works, and how to take action at your own pace. Join today for just $297, a 60% savings off the regular price. Text radio to 88007. That's RADIO to 88007. Presented by Lifestyles Unlimited.
Ponder this. Imagine for a moment that you are lying on your deathbed. This is a great exercise to do each day in preparation for your very last day on earth. Think about the tests you've ever taken, the job interviews you've had, and the many life celebrations you've been a part of. In all of these cases, preparation makes for successful outcomes. The same is true for dying. We must prepare every day for the day we are to die, in case today might be our last. Make sure you are right with the Lord first and foremost. If you are a Catholic, make sure you are in the state of grace by receiving the sacrament of confession often. Next, make sure you are right with your family, friends, and all those who are in your world. Apologize to those who have offended you and mend relationships that need healing. Make each day a preparation for your last day on earth, because it just may be. I'm Susie Kelly, and I am passionately Catholic.
They're better than we are. We're not good enough. We shouldn't even be thinking about beating this 49ers. We shouldn't be talking about it because the Saints ain't good enough. And you guys shouldn't write about us being a playoff team and all that bull stuff. That's malarkey. We ain't good enough to beat those guys, and it was proven out there today. It's that simple. We're not good enough yet. We got a long way to go. We got a lot of work to do. We're close, and close don't mean, and you can put that on TV for me. I'm tired of coming close, and we're going to work our off till we ain't close anymore. And it may take some time. We're going to get it done. We aren't in there. We aren't good enough. They're better than us. Black and white, simple fact. Could have, would have, should have is the difference of what I'm talking about. The good teams don't come in and say could have. They get it done. All right? It's that simple. I'm tired of saying could have, should have, would have. That's why we ain't good enough yet. Because we're saying could have and they ain't.
He's your Godzilla of the truth in America. No gibberish or nonsense, just common sense. And now back to the John Fredericks Show.
Well, happy Memorial Day weekend. Hey, guess what? We're off. Best of on Monday. Dan's off. I'm off. Michael's off. Everybody's off. Company's off. Yay. So we're excited about our 3-day weekend. And I know Danny's ready to go. Get a little sleep, Dan. Get caught up on your sleep. Spend a little time with the fam, right? And nothing like the 3-day weekend. And then, of course, July 4th, we're off. So it's like the toughest time, Dan, in our company. The toughest run. The toughest run is January 2nd or 3rd, whenever we get back, normally January the 2nd, to Memorial Day. Dan, that's the toughest run.
Yeah.
You got 5 months of just...
Yeah, no holidays. Very few anyway.
You don't take off President's Day or any of that. It's just grind it out, and you got to get through it. But once you get there, it's like, okay, we got our 3-day weekend coming up. You know, maybe a couple people take off. You get another extra day. Some people take a week off there. Then you get July 4th, and I've got a week's vacation in July coming up. Then
Labor Day comes up in September.
You got Labor Day in September, and then then you're looking at Thanksgiving.
And then we have the holiday season that I call the NFL regular season.
Exactly.
It's a 17 or 18 week Christmas gift in a lot of ways, at least for this sports fan. But yeah,
you just got to get through in our company. January to May is just a bitch on wheels. I mean, I don't even know how to pronounce it because you got primaries. We're covering it. We had 3 bus tours I did. I think, right? Iowa.
With a couple
Texas.
planned, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, we did 3 of them. We got another one coming up. But so look, we're here. We got a nice 3-day weekend. I got my son home for the weekend.
Has Papish told you what he and I have been working on, by the way?
No.
We're gonna. Well, we mentioned it on the company conference call a little bit on Monday, but yeah, we have a video intro that we're unveiling on Tuesday.
Really? Is it good?
Yeah. So we have the new music and the new intro, but now we're gonna have a video to go with it. And Papish did a great job. I'm really excited about it. But yeah, we'll unveil that on Tuesday for something that people can look forward to.
He's a talented guy, isn't he?
He's great. Yeah. Everybody in this company is wonderful. So starting with the folks at the top. So yeah.
Well, thank you. But we're blessed with a great team. It's just a great team, and it's so fun to work with. And I love these. One of the things that we've done just this year is these panels, which I love these. I mean, I got to be honest with you. And the DC Dispatch is my favorite.
Okay.
Just because they come in.
It's close to home.
Well, and because they're funny. I mean, like, and they're just fun. Like, Terry comes in. She's savvy, TV reporter for a long time. Terry Gilberg, and of course Maria. I haven't said her name right.
Maria, right? Maria Pickering.
Maria Pickering is hilarious. And then, of course, Christina Goodlander, who's a DC GOP vice chair. And then yesterday we had one of our candidates on, and it's fun to get him in the studio. So I really enjoy that, but I enjoy all of them. The Pennsylvania Posse is going to take off June 9th. I think we're launching West Virginia Mavericks, Mountaineer Mavericks.
Mountaineer Mavericks, yeah.
That's we got the Texas I call it the Texas gang.
Truth Line.
Name of it. Yeah, but. And then we got the Virginia gang today. George Allen's joining us.
George Allen, yeah.
Yeah, so
glad we've recruited him to the mix.
These are a lot of fun. And, of course, the Peach Crew is always fun on Wednesday. So I'm enjoying it. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's great. Yeah, the gangs make that last hour just it zips. It's fun. Very conversational. Yeah, everybody. And what's neat is to get some insight. Of course, I would say this as a Steelers fan over the last however many number of years. If you listen to the national media talk about the Steelers, you don't really get the real story. So when it comes to these gangs, what's neat is that we have the national perspective on Georgia or Pennsylvania or West Virginia or D.C., but then you get the people who are actually there on the ground, the boots on the ground, the people in the trenches who can tell you what's really going on. And I love that about this show, and I love that
That's
about
what's
these
fun
gangs.
about it. I know. And the other thing I love that we did is because we did make a lot of changes this year, and you were the catalyst for that. So thank you. Trying to get the show better because, you like anything else, you do the same thing over and over, you get stuck in the mud. But I love the Chairman's Corner. I'm enjoying that too. And that has forced me to reach out to these different state RNC chairs, and you get a really different perspective when they're talking to you about, their state. Like I really loved Gene Truano on Tuesday talking about Delaware and, how they're trying to, change it and get Republicans to turn out, and how all the corporations are leaving because of the nonsense going on there. That was fun. I enjoyed that. And I think we've got Tuesday is Maine. Maine is coming up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so
that'll be interesting with that Senate race going on. And
I know, right?
The crazy nut job with the
and
Nazi
the week
tattoo.
after that, I've got Maryland. Nicole Harris is going to come on. So then we're going to get New Jersey. I just go right down the line. New York, Vermont. I don't care where it is. It's going to be fun. So New Hampshire, right? It's all coming up. You got 50 of them.
We got
one actually because there's a chairman of Washington D.C. and they treat that like a state, but he doesn't like me anymore.
Do we have a Puerto Rico GOP chair?
You know what? We actually did. We have a Puerto Rico.
We can get. Let's keep it rolling.
I mean,
we'll get the Guam guy on next.
There is a Guam report.
Guam on Wednesday.
Virginia,
Stay tuned for Guam, folks.
There's Virginian Islands because I was there during the Trump campaign. There's a Virginian Islands chairman who I've met when I was there. But it's all good. Okay, 888-480 John. You want to weigh in? 888-480-5646. And I tell you what, if you're getting tired of getting hammered by outrageous healthcare costs, listen up. Mountaineer Healthcare from the Smart Health Company is helping families, individuals, and businesses get quality healthcare coverage without getting destroyed financially. Now, you get complete and comprehensive coverage, including hospitalization, surgery, critical illness protection. You also get access to a nationwide PPO network with low $15 doctor visit copays. Can't beat that. Now, if you need quick care, unlimited free telemedicine is included with that. That's great. And if you need your prescriptions covered, they have a tiered prescription drug plans that they offer too. Now, whether you need an individual plan for yourself, group coverage for your company, Mountaineer Healthcare has flexible options designed to save you serious money. And here's the kicker. Rates can be 30 to 40% lower than unsubsidized marketplace plans or traditional group coverage. That's real savings for working Americans. Give them a call today. 833-752-6742. 833-752-6742. Or visit mountaineerhealthplan.com. That's mountaineerhealthplan.com. Mountaineer Healthcare and the Smart Health Company. Smart coverage, real savings, peace of mind, truth, clarity, real healthcare savings. And you're good to go. 888-480 John. You want to weigh in? 888-480-5646. I want to get to cut 5. Here's Jared Moskowitz in big trouble in his seat in Florida, likely to lose that seat. But he's blasting the Democrats. Now he's lashing out. Let's get to Jared Moskowitz, Democrat Congressman, South Florida. This seat's in play. Cut 5. Take a look.
Like an autopsy is a medical procedure you do over a corpse. And now it sounds like we need a malpractice attorney because we couldn't even do the autopsy correctly.
And then let's get back to him on cut 6.
We lost The last election, it wasn't close, okay? But the fact that we can't even tell people why, we're too afraid to tell them the truth. They know the truth. They saw the debate. They saw what happened, right? And they saw that we got killed in the election. We lost every swing state. So they can write whatever document they want, but Democrats know why we lost.
Because you suck. Because you have no plan. Because you're destroying the country. Because you opened up the borders. Because you put criminals over victims. Because our streets are unsafe. Because you destroyed the economy. Because your international policies were ridiculous. Because Iran was getting a bomb. What else you need to know? Right? Because our jobs went away, wages were down. You let China, Canada, and everybody else dump goods in here, didn't do anything about it, right? Played patty cake with Wall Street. Well, they shipped your jobs out. The list goes on. You're going to lose again. You haven't learned anything. You've doubled and tripled down in the nonsense you did in 24. This is why I'm so optimistic. This is why I know we're going to win. Now, here's this guy, Leonard in Georgia. I'll get to you in a minute. Here's this guy, another crackpot. Graham Plattner. Okay, now he says the problem in the country is billionaires. And he says if he's in the Senate, he's going to take their money and give it to you. This is what communists do. Somebody successful shouldn't be successful when you have nothing. Therefore, we're going to confiscate what he or she has, and we're going to give it to you. We're just going to take it and give it to you. Vote for me. I'm going to take it to them. I'm going to take their money and their house and their property and their wealth, and they've worked their whole lives. You're going to take it, and I'm going to give it to you. It's done nothing. Vote for me. Rah, rah, rah. 8, Graham Plattner, their poster child. Here's what they believe. All of them. That's why they backed them. Roll it.
Those who are benefiting off of the system we have now, they know what the light at the end of their tunnel looks like. It looks like none of us owning anything. It looks like everything becoming a subscription service, having no right to fix anything that's yours. It looks like a world in which we all have nothing and they sit in paradise behind walls of concrete and guns. That's their future, and we cannot let them have it. Because we have an opportunity now. We are at a crossroads in American history. On one path, we are looking down the dark road of fascism. We're already there. Masked agents kidnapping people, murdering Americans in the streets. A federal government that is now turning back on illegal wiretapping without warrants. That is using things like terrorism and military adventures abroad to be weaponized here at home against political enemies. That is happening. We keep going down that path, it is a bleak future indeed. But there is another path that we must take. We must understand that we have to rise to our moment in history. Nobody wants to live in interesting times, but we do. And much like the Americans that came before us, we have to understand that it is not going to be enough to just protect what we had. We need to build something new.
I hope you digested what they're doing here. You know, once again, I hate to be this way. I really don't want to be this way on a Friday, but once again, 3-4 years ahead of everybody else. Sorry. I told you 4 years ago, there was going to be a communist movement engulfing this country on the left. Anti-Semitic communist movement. And now it's unfolding right before your eyes. The Mandami whitewash in New York City is the catalyst. It's how they opened the wormhole and got in. And everybody wants to emulate that. We see it right here in the nation's capital with Janice Lewis George running for mayor, Democrat to the left of Mandami, an out-and-out communist. And these people gain an audience because he's talking to other working people and saying, you deserve what they earned. Not, I'm going to give you opportunity to get better pay. I'm going to be sure that we have our manufacturing here. I'm going to be sure that we're not shipping your jobs overseas so that Wall Street executives can get another yacht. I'm going to be sure that we are energy independent and you can buy gas cheaper. I'm going to be sure you're safe, that Iran doesn't have a nuclear bomb. I'm going to be sure that you can walk down the street or take your family. I'm going to be sure that we have schools that are teaching your kids how to read and write, not about DEI bathroom policy and putting tampons in little boys' rooms. Now, instead of that, it's the politics of envy. They have, you don't. Therefore, vote for me and I will take what they have and give it to you. It was Robespierre, the French philosopher, who says, yes, republic democracy is a very interesting concept until the voters figure out they can start voting themselves other people's money. And then it'll collapse. That's what Robespierre said, 40 years ago. He was right. So I play these so that and I play Mandami to understand this is not to be taken lightly. There are two movements in this country. There's ours, MAGA, which is a populist, rugged individualism movement, which is now expunging and exorcising the rhinos out of the party so that we can take the whole thing over. And then there's them. There's the communist. And there's nothing in between. If you want to get nominated and win as a Democrat, you got to toe the communist line because they have taken their party over just like we've taken ours over. So the diversion, the divide is bigger than ever. It's not a bad thing. I know that there's a lot of people that I wish we could all do kumbaya and get together and all be independent. We all get together in the middle. You can't do it. There's communism and there's freedom. They want communism. We want freedom. That's it. And their people are tougher than ours. Until we start getting tougher people in, which we're going to do with Ken Paxton. Phone lines open. Leonard in Georgia, line 1. Hey, Leonard, you're live.
Morning, John and Dan. Enjoy your long weekend. You guys deserve it. But here's what I was going to say something else, but that guy that just spoke, Dan Plattner or Don Plattner, whatever his name is.
Graham
That's
Plattner.
not Graham there. I would just listen to your dialogue there, John. You said it. See, you have a problem, John. You're telling the truth and making sense. I'm an expert when it comes to communism. I lived it. Every time I hear pathetic cockroaches, they're not cockroaches, they're dung beetles, speak, they always have that political undertone of envy. The rich, the wealthy. They don't realize, well, they do realize because they know the truth, that the 1% or top 1% that is wealthy, they own 3 or 4 dry cleaners, 4 or 5 little grocery store, 4 or 5 little radio stations, and he makes them wealthy. But the money is not sitting in a bank account, piled up and then just, they fire everybody else and live off their money. No, they have employees, investments like yourself and other people, John. But that's not what I wanted to talk about. But that guy kind of riled me up. You had a lady the other day, my name is Ola, which means hello in Spanish. So here's what I'm going to say to her, goodbye. I started watching that interview with her, and I started cringing when you asked her about the ballroom for Trump. Trump's not going to enjoy the ballroom. The next 25, 30, 50 presidents are going to enjoy the ballroom. So he's not building that for himself. He's building that for America, for you and me, and for everybody else to keep them safe.
Exactly. And the $1 billion he's asking for is not for the construction of the ballroom. He self-funded that. He's asking for that for security because of what is happening. They've attempted to assassinate him 3 times. And a guy went in there with a gun that was trying to wipe out the entire governing body of the United States. And so he wants to put that in for security reasons. I'd vote for it in a heartbeat. I mean, these guys just look at the fraud they got going on in Minnesota. When will I play some of these clips coming up in a little bit? And by the way, we got Mike Lindell, 8 a.m. today. Wait till I play some of these clips the fraud in Minnesota is beyond the pale. And they're worried about $1 billion for security for those going to the White House. I mean, give me a break, man. Just give me a break. The Democrats stand for nothing, right? It's all sound bites and nonsense and whatever they do, social media. This guy's a communist. They got another candidate in Texas basically wants Jews to get incarcerated. I mean, this is what the party has become. Unbelievable. Now let's go to Georgia while you're there. I'm gonna just look. My candidates: Greg Dolittle, hope he wins. Vernon Jones, I'd vote for him. Hope he wins. I think Burt Jones now is in a very good position to be the gubernatorial nominee. That's going to be tough. I think Jones has got, Jones actually beat him in the primary, so I think Jones has a shot. But I think Derek Dooley's going to beat Mike Collins. That's what I think. I don't know who you're going to vote for, and I know the polls show Collins up big, but I don't trust them. I think once Kemp gets his machine behind Dooley, look, he got him past Carter. Dooley was in third place up until the final week, and then caught him and passed him and beat him handily. This is Buddy. Carter got 25% of the vote. Dooley got 33, 32. So I wouldn't count Dooley out. But my number one candidate there, Vernon Jones, Secretary of State. Go ahead, Leonard.
Well, I'm with you, John. You mentioned, like I said, I'm involved in Georgia politics, and our leadership sucks. But the ones you just mentioned, I voted for all of them. And I want Mike Collins to win, Burt Jones to win, Vernon Jones to win, So I'm there, but I'm disappointed in, and I know that they're pathetic dung beetles. It's our leadership. Carr, Ratberger, and our governor. Everybody thinks that he's done a good job. In a way he has, but he never defended Georgia when he needed to. My wife and my son went to the state capitol, and the other one there that was Vernon Jones, and protection by the police, local police, is non-existent. The ones that were there, were other people protecting them because there was no police around. So, yeah, Georgia leadership sucks, but the ones you mentioned, they need to win.
Most important race, in my opinion, is Vernon Jones. If Vernon Jones becomes Secretary of State of Georgia, he will be the lightning rod across the nation in voter integrity.
I met him. I met him. Great guy.
I got to raise the money to do a bus tour for him. I got to get off my butt and get it done. I got 3 phones and 3 pens. Let's go, Fredericks. Get it done, man. Get off your butt. This is all on me, right? I got to do it. Hey, thanks for being with us. Mike Lindell coming up at 8 o'clock. Don't want to miss that. Virginia Gang at 9. Meantime, your calls. This is kind of open call Friday, 888-480-JOHN. We'll be right back.
Make calls from your sat phone to any regular cell phone in the United States. The phones are $1,500 value, but you can get yours free. Just sign up for a 15-month plan, $94.95 a month. Get 150 minutes monthly that roll to the next month. Go 3 months without using them, that's fine. Yes, 3 months, 450 minutes, all yours. Visit SAT123.com or call 855-980-5830. SAT123.com, 855-980-5830. Get surety and security with your sat phone. Call now.
For the first time ever, we're bringing you MyPillow mattresses and mattress toppers for as low as $99.98. Remember, sleep's all about temperature and pressure points. Whatever sleep needs you have, we have the right technology for you. Like our MyPillow mattress topper, our queen size has over 10,000 individual comfort supports to help relieve your pressure points. And how about our 3-inch Hybrid Plus mattress topper? It's infused with copper and silver to help your body get the restorative sleep it needs. And our MyPillow and Case Coil mattresses, I personally helped develop these mattresses to make sure they have everything needed to give us great sleep. Plus, they're made right here in the USA, and they ship right to your front door, absolutely free.
Go to MyPillow.com or call 800-854-0504 and use promo code Godzilla to get MyPillow mattresses and toppers for as low as $99.98 and free shipping.
Now more than ever, it's imperative to support companies that share our conservative values. That's why I can't be more excited. Wireless service works perfectly and seamlessly as you go about your lives with exceptional nationwide coverage that uses the same towers the main carriers use. Patriot Mobile donates a portion of every dollar earned to causes you care about, to organizations that fight for religious freedom, First and Second Amendments, sanctity of life, and the needs of veterans and first responders. Patriot Mobile has plans to fit any budget, along with great discounts for our veterans and first responder heroes, as well as multi-line users. Switching is easy. Just go to patriotmobile.com/Godzilla or call their U.S.-based customer service team, 972-PATRIOT. That's 972-728-7468. Use offer code Godzilla for free activation.
Folks, this is Crom Carmichael, CEO of Soul Tea. I have recently turned 77 years old. I do not take prescription drugs. I have not had to take prescription drugs, and I attribute a lot of my good health to a product that I've been taking, which is the active ingredient in Soul Tea. It's a 22% concentration of theaflavin. We did clinical trials on it 25 years ago and found that it helped lower cholesterol. We have had many, many hundreds of letters and emails from customers telling us how it has helped them not only manage their cholesterol, but lower their triglycerides and help them on their blood pressure. And I can't tell you how much I attribute to Soul Tea for my good health at age 77. And I encourage you to go to GodzillaHeart.com. That's GodzillaHeart.com. And use the code Godzilla at checkout, and you'll get a 50% off on your initial shipment of Soul Tea. And I promise you it will be a great help for your heart health. Thanks so much.
I would rather play with 10 people and just get penalized all the way until we got to do something else, rather than play with 11 when I know that right now that person is not sold out to be a part of this team. It is more about them than it is about the team. I cannot play with them, cannot win with them, cannot coach with them, can't do it.
He's your Godzilla of the truth in America. No gibberish or nonsense, just common sense. And now back to the John Fredericks Show.
All right, it's good to have you back here, just finishing something up. And 888-480-JOHN, 888-480-5646. Mike Lindell coming up, 8 o'clock, Virginia Gang 9. George Allen's going to be with us. Don't want to miss that. Let's get to the phone lines. Andy in Chesapeake, 888-480-JOHN. Andy, go ahead. In Virginia.
Hey, John. Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
I just wanted to say I'm jumping in a little bit late here, but you've been spot on all along, John. I mean, you were the one saying you'll be eating out of a garbage can. That one resonated with me for a long time, and I just still hear you say it today. And just coattailing on that point is ahead of the times. And now I don't think they're really bashful about it at all. They're pretty open. That's their goal.
Well, if you listen to what they're saying, right, they see an America where you work hard and you get something and you do something and you don't deserve that. Even though you get up at 3:45 every day, you were homeless, you were living in a car, you couldn't feed your child, and you worked 18 hours a day, 7 days a week to build something for your family so you could take care of them. And now they're telling me or you or the other guy that's worked his ass off and has something and followed the rules, you didn't do that. You don't deserve that. I deserve it. He deserves it. She deserves it. And so we're going to take it from you and give it to them. And thanks for your trouble. I mean, they're going to be at the top of the heap, and they're going to be doling out the boxes, blue box or the red box, based on what your social score is. I mean, this is not a joke. I mean, they are running candidates for the United States Senate that are Nazi, communist, anti-Semites, and getting traction and getting money and getting other Democrats to campaign for them. I mean, this is what they're about. Lawlessness, crime, squalor, you name it. You go to Mandami This guy's the darling now of the party. And you look at what has he done there? He looked into a camera and said, "Hey, Ken Griffin, see that house? I'm taking it." Everybody's clapping like seals until they take yours. Because eventually you got to start going down the line. First it's the billionaires, then it's the millionaires, and then it's anybody that has a job in a house because you start running out of stuff to take. I mean, it's just, Andy, it's incredible, Andy, in Virginia. And the Republicans don't even understand, half of them, what they're dealing with. And so they're worrying about, a $1.6 million fund for GOJ or a $1 billion ballroom. They're fighting about that. And they got this guy Plattner and others basically looking for a communist takeover of the United States. And they don't even understand it. That's my frustration. That's why their goal is to get you to eat out of a garbage can. And that's coming. Right? I mean, first they say, put the Jews in internment camps. This is what a Democratic congressional candidate has said. Next thing they're going to say is put MAGA in an internment camp. That's what they tried to do when they tried to stop President Trump from getting on the ballot again and trying to bankrupt him and his company, his family. I mean, these people, Andy, they play hardball, man. They give you the bow tie. They give you chin music. You hit a homer off him, you get up the next time, you're going down. That's how they play. My only concern on our side is we have too many people in our camp that refuse to play that way. Like Coach Singletary says, I'd rather play with 10 guys and take the penalty than 11 guys and one guy's not on the team. Doesn't care. So anyway, Andy, you got me on a rant. Go ahead. I'll give you the final word.
Those are all great points, John. And I think that the sad part is they've got most of the media. Of course, there's plenty of good outlets on our side, but they control so much. They've got the vote. And these people still vote for them. That's what just baffles, I guess, anybody with a sane mind. So that's my frustration. Abigail Spanberger running as a moderate who's concerned about affordability. Well, she's been nothing but. So when, particularly in Virginia, when are these voters going to wake up and understand?
I mean, I think they woke up during the referendum. We almost defeated that. And I think you might see a difference. But, what the problem in Virginia is what it always is. You've got the northern Virginia counties that are dominated by the majority of lobbyists and federal workers. And so they're really, they're in gated communities and they're getting plenty of money. So they're very liberal. I don't know what the answer is there. I really don't. But you guys are in big trouble. At least I have the protection of the federal government. You guys don't. That's why I'm glad I'm out. I'm glad I'm out of Virginia. I really am. I mean, I hate it for you guys there. I hate it for Dan. But, I've told you this before. We have protection. If our communist Democrat nominee, Councilman Louis George, becomes mayor and we hold the House and the Senate, Trump is going to get rid of home rule, and he's got the votes. And then there'll be no mayor. It'll be run by the federal council, which will be appointed by the president, and they're going to run the city, provided we have a majority in the House and Senate. And she wins. If McDuffie wins, they'll probably find a way to work with him. But you got this other candidate who's running on a platform of stop Trump. Stop him from what? Getting the garbage out of the parks? Like, what do you want to stop him from? Stop Trump in D.C. Free D.C. More garbage, more rats, more crime, more carjackings, more riots, more graffiti, more garbage, more pipes breaking. That's what we want. Squalor and disgusting things here. Free D.C. We want more murders. We want more crime. We want Metro to be unsafe. We want people jumping turnstiles. Free us. Free us from normalcy and safety and flowers and beautiful. Free us. Free us so we can go back into squalor and drug dealers and carjackings and crime and trash and rats. I mean, this is what I deal with. I go down the street and I see these people from Northern Virginia in Montgomery County with these shirts, that say "Free DC." It's like, from what? From Trump. Oh, okay, right. Got it. TDS. I mean, if you really think of it, it's hilarious. Andy, thank you, and you have a good weekend. Good call, Andy in Chesapeake, Virginia, my own stomping ground. Okay, let's get to. Oh my goodness, Free DC. Every time I see it, I start to laugh. I can't help it. They're like, "What are you laughing at?" I don't want to get into it with them. It's like, go back to Northern Virginia, put your 2 masks on, you're good to go. Tim in Orlando. Timbo in Orlando, line 2. Go ahead, Tim.
Hey, we're just giving you an update on the Memorial Weekend in Florida. We are packed. The hotels are packed. The attractions are packed. The beaches are packed. Come to Florida.
Okay. That's what Ed wants to do. Go to Florida. We're concerned that that someday there's not going to be any place there that's going to be packed. There's going to be nowhere to live. Everybody's there. Now they're getting rid of property. Now DeSantis says he's going to get rid of property taxes. How's he going to do that?
Oh, because we've got so many tourists, they're paying all of our taxes for us, John. Everybody's visiting here. It's safe. We got the Polk County Sheriff who's keeping everything under control. It's wonderful. You need to buy some radio stations down here. I'll be on the lookout for a good deal for you.
All right, you do that. If you can get that by Ann, you're a better man than me.
So, but now the downside is we do have crazy crime stories in Florida. Every time there's something goofy, I say to myself, don't be Florida, don't be Florida. Oh, it's Florida, so we do have some crazy stories.
Give me one of the most recent ones.
I don't know. There's so many, there's so many police chases. We've got guys who have decided that they can outrun the police, and it's impossible. So they do some crazy stuff with police chases. It's the dangest thing, It's the dangest thing.
Well, you guys are rocking and rolling, no doubt about it. And
yep.
Beautiful Florida, the Sunshine State, right? It's all good.
And it's a 3-day holiday, so come to Florida, 3-day holiday. Have some fun.
All right, Tim. Thank you. Big Florida ambassador, Tim in Orlando. Let's get to Johnny in Southwest Virginia. Johnny, you're live. Go.
Hey, I appreciate you taking my call, John. I had to call when I saw. I appreciate Dan when he throws those coaching rants up at the beginning of the segments, and the 49er rant that the coach had just brought me back to John Thune. Thune's driving me up a wall. The 49er rant said it perfectly. It's all about John Thune. It's not about it. Not about the team. You can't play with him. All he wants is everything for himself. I've said it before. I'll say it again. There are Republicans up in the House and Senate that are Democrats, but there are no Democrats up there that are really Republicans. And when you look at Thune and the blue slips and how they're able to stop judges and U.S. attorneys and the filibuster, where you can call in a filibuster rather than have to stand there and try to defend it, it's crazy. The Dems are going to do away with that the moment that they get in there. He should know that. He's more content with being a loser than he is being a leader. He's the perfect example of symbolism over substance. That's John Thune. He needs to go. He's a loser, and we don't need him. he's just playing into the hands of the Democrats all along. He's just content to be a minority party, and we want somebody up there that's going to be a leader. To sit here and to avoid legislation that's beneficial to the nation, even just because President Trump wants to see it, is no reason not to go for it. He's a crybaby. After Cassidy lost and he needed to lose, and after after Senator from North Carolina quit because he knew he was going to lose, and we see now that Paxton's going to clean house with Cornyn, he's a crybaby because it's politics, and he can't stand to lose. We need to replace him. There needs to be some way to get this guy out of there.
Well, Jimmy Petronas said yesterday if he can't get the SAVE Act, that he's going. He believes that he's going to that there's going to be a coup and he's going to get overthrown. I mean, I agree with 100% everything you're saying. We need a leader, not a loser. I mean, go in there and get the SAVE Act, put it in the reconciliation, get a vote on it. I mean, if we can't get the votes, we can't get the votes, but let's get everybody on the record. They don't want to get them on the record. See, that's their problem. And we're not going to have the votes. Even if you put the SAVE Act in the reconciliation, you're not going to get Tillis, this one, that one, McConnell, all the losers, Cassidy. But let's get them on the record. Let's get them on the record. Let's get Murkowski on the record in Alaska so she can get beaten in a primary and be done with her in Alaska. Get her on the record.
They're not team players. They're not team players. They're thinking of individual glory, not the team dynamics. They need to get in there and work for the benefit of the nation, not the benefit of themselves and their big money donors. That's who they're sitting there trying to please, themselves and the big money donors. They don't care about the little people. You know, it's not to say that I'm not going to vote, try to keep Senate majorities and stuff, but we just need somebody else in there leading. We do not need Thune. There needs to be a revolt. We need somebody like Rick Scott, or somebody in there that's willing to make the hard calls. And we're not getting it right now. We need to have it. I'm sitting here. I'm just sick and tired of sitting out here watching these guys go up there and be content to lose.
No, I agree with you. Look, you're right. I mean, you got to win. It's about winning, and we got just poor leadership, and that's why we play these clips. I mean, John Thune. You know, why is he there? Like, why are you there? Oh, I believe in tradition. Tradition for what? You're getting your ass kicked. There's no tradition.
Hey, say hi to George Allen for me when you get on there. I used to be the chairman in Pocosin, and we used to talk fairly frequently.
Call in and say hi yourself.
Well, I've called once today. I ought to save it for somebody else, but
all right.
If need be when you have the Virginia gang on there, we'll look to it.
I'll say I said hi. Thank you, man. All right, let's get good call, by the way. Let's get to Bobby in Jersey. Bobby, you're live. Go ahead, Bobby.
Hi, John.
Hi.
Yeah, hey, I wanted to talk about Trump's weaponization fund. I kicked the living crap out of 4 cops on J6. Will I get
Come
more
on,
money?
Bobby, stop. Why are you wasting my time on a holiday weekend? And it says here you wanted to talk about Tom Kaine in New Jersey. So why do you lie to my guy, right? If you want to do a joke call, just say, hey, this is a prank call, and I'll go with it, right? Come on, man. I mean, don't be lying to Dan. Don't be a liar, right? It's ridiculous. I don't have time for that. Now, you said here, it says, Bobby in New Jersey wants to talk about his Congressman Tom Kaine. So, okay, let's talk about Congressman Kaine, who has been ill for some time. He's not made a vote in a while. This is Congressman Tom Kaine. He's in a very vulnerable swing district in New Jersey. And his dad, whom I knew, was when I lived there, was governor of New Jersey. He was a 2-term governor, and then he was president of Drew University, if memory serves me correct, those of you from Jersey. So thank you for that. But Tom, his son has been ill. We don't know what his illness is, but he's not made a vote in a while. He's not been there in a while. But he was calling, we understand that yesterday he was calling up various Republican chairmen of Union County and things of that nature that's in his district, and said that he was better and he was going to get back to work. And he was running for re-election and he was going to be fine. But we don't know what the illness is or why he was not at work for a while. I think it was about 3 months. So, it was undisclosed, and people don't have to say what their illness is if they don't want to. But he says he's fine. So, Godspeed to Tom Kane, and Godspeed to the Kane family. And his father was really a 2-term governor, great governor, president of True University. And I only know that because I went to Fairleigh Dickinson in Madison, which was right across the street. And we were like the blue collar college, and they were like the elites. They had a lot more money. It was a lot more expensive. But a good people, beautiful campus. Ours was a beautiful campus too, right downtown Madison, New Jersey, in Morris County. So Bobby, when you call up, just if you want to do a prank call, it's fine. Just say, hey, I want to prank John, and I'll go with it. But don't lie to Dan and waste his time. Okay, thank you. 888-480-JOHN, 888-480-5646. You want to weigh in. Let's get to a couple other things here. Let's get to Mendami. Always fun to have him. We're going to get to cut 13. And here's Mendami saying that New Yorkers deserve to have cheaper tickets so they can see the magic of the World Cup. And so they're going to, do a lottery for 1,000 tickets for $50 that they bought. And I wish Nick tickets were $50. I wish Redskins tickets, or whatever they are, Commanders, were $50. I wish when I went to an Astro game, tickets were $50, but they're not. And so, you can choose not to go, I guess, if you don't want to pay the money. I know when I go to the Maryland baseball games, it's like $10. So that's good. Of course, maybe if we start winning, we can raise it up to $11. Let's get to Mendami the Commie. 13. Roll it.
Today, we were so excited to announce that we were going to be delivering 1,000 $50 tickets to the World Cup just for New Yorkers. Now, last year when I was running for this position, I spoke about how New Yorkers deserved to have cheaper tickets to actually make sure that they could go and see the magic of the World Cup, not just have to feel it in the city that they know as their home. Today, we announced that thanks to a partnership with the New York, New Jersey Host Committee, we're doing exactly that. These 1,000 tickets are going to be sold $50 a pop to New York City residents. All you have to be is older than 15 years old and live in our city. And I'm sorry to Philly sports fans, that does not apply to you. Now, the way that you actually enter into this lottery is on Monday, Memorial Day at 10 a.m. We're going to open up this lottery from 10 a.m. to midnight, and it's going to be open every day for the next 5 days. You can enter into the lottery once a day. We're capping it at 50,000 entries per day. And if you win the chance to get a ticket, you'll also get the chance to buy an additional ticket, either for a family or friend or whomever you'd like. And with that ticket is going to come free bus travel from New York City to the stadium, because we know that just as much as ticket pricing has been a prohibitive part for New Yorkers dreaming about going to the World Cup, so too has transit. And so this is going to be part of our initiative to make it easier for New Yorkers to actually be a part of this incredible tournament.
Okay, so here's what he did. This is absolutely brilliant. Another video, he's smiling, he's giving things away, right? It's going to be paid for by the taxpayer dollars. They're going to buy the tickets. He's going to buy the tickets with government funds for whatever the cost is that their FIFA is charging. So he's going to buy those, then he's going to give them away. Then he's going to give away free bus tour. That's coming out of the taxpayer budget. But in order to register, you're going to have to get name, address, email, telephone. Let me say that again. In order to register, you're going to have to get name, email, telephone, address. 50,000 a day times 5 days is $250,000 name, address, email, cell phone that they then put into their political machine. This guy's brilliant. I'm telling you, man. You cannot discount what this guy's doing, right? Gets up there with a smile, right? On taxpayer money, he builds his political machine with a smile. It's brilliantly done. They're going to get 250,000 names, addresses, emails, and text numbers for his campaign, paid for by New York City taxpayers or people in another city because he's getting billions of dollars from Hochul to bail a city out from every other county in New York. He's going to keep taking your money. He's going to take it. He's going to give it away. And then they become his supporters. Take, give, support machine. This is what the communist empire does until there's nothing left to take. Brilliant. I mean, you might be upset by this, but it's brilliantly done. I'm going to give away tickets paid for by somebody else to my army to build it going forward for my political machine. And we just stand around and like, yep, that's smart. Mike Lindell next.
For their holiday break without voting on roughly $70 billion for immigration enforcement. They leave town amid Republican disagreements over a $1.8 billion fund to compensate those who say they've been the victims of lawfare waged by the Biden Department of Justice. All eyes on Secretary of State Rubio addressing a NATO foreign ministers meeting in Sweden.
This is the first gathering of NATO foreign ministers since the start of the war on Iran, with the alliance under continuing strain over its fallout. The Trump administration has at times angrily demanded more help from its allies, many of whom have in turn privately shunned the risk of getting drawn into a war they don't see as part of NATO's mutual defence concept and which they weren't consulted about. Before boarding the plane to Sweden, asked by the BBC about unconfirmed reports the US could shrink its total troop numbers available in the event of an attack on a NATO country, Mr. Rubio said some of those issues would be discussed today.
The BBC's Tom Bateman, Secretary Rubio says a peaceful solution of the standoff with Cuba's communist regime is looking less likely, although he says the administration would prefer a diplomatic solution. The U.S. Marines have showcased their formidable capabilities with a live-fire exercise in Japan, showcasing the HIMARS mobile rocket system. The exercise, part of a strategy aimed at deterring potential Chinese aggression against Taiwan. He was a husband, a father, and a NASCAR champ. Kyle Busch has died at just 41 years of age. He passed away in the hospital, suffering what his family calls a severe illness. Watching Wall Street this morning, the Dow futures are up 178 points. NASDAQ futures 60 points higher. The S&P futures better by 16. More on these stories, townhall.com.
Looking for a great real estate agent? Someone who can help you sell your home fast and for top dollar? Go to ready.com, REDY.com. Because on Ready, agents will pay you just for the opportunity to sell your home. Yeah, on Ready, agents will pay you for your listing. Thousands of dollars up front just for a chance to sell your home. And it's easy. Just go to ready.com, enter your address, and when you want to sell. In just 48 hours, the best local agents are competing on Ready to be your agent with cash offers up front just to win your business. Hey, your listing is valuable. Don't give it away. Make those agents earn it. Get paid to pick your real estate agent. Go to ready.com or call 800-885-REDY. 800-885-READY.
Thousands of people have disappeared during the war in Sudan. In many cases, it's tearing families apart.
Fahmi al-Fatah never made it home from war in Sudan. His wife, Azaher Abdullah, has been searching for him for over a year. He used to say such sweet things to me, she says. He was the most precious thing in my life. She says her 3-year-old son shouts at every passing motorcycle, thinking it's his father. The International Committee of the Red Cross says more than 8,000 people have gone missing during Sudan's 3-year war. I'm Lawrence Brooks.
An explosion at a petrochemical plant in Hungary has killed one person, injured several others. The explosion occurred today during a restart after maintenance. Hungary's prime minister says 7 people suffered burn injuries. 5 helicopters used to transport the injured to nearby hospitals. News and analysis, townhall.com. Looks like a former Virginia school administrator is off the hook.
Judge Rebecca Robinson has dismissed all charges against former assistant principal Ebony Parker, who had been accused of ignoring repeated warnings that a 6-year-old student at Rich Neck Elementary School in Newport News, Virginia, had a gun. Hours later, in January 2023, the student shot and wounded teacher Abby Werner. On the 4th day of the trial, the judge ruled the court is of the legal opinion that this is not a crime. Parker had been charged with 8 felony counts of child neglect, which could have carried a maximum penalty of 5 years in prison for each count. I'm Donna Warder.
SpaceX's newest and biggest Starship will have to wait at least another day before launching on a test flight from Texas. The launch team got within a half-minute last evening of sending the mega rocket aloft. However, a series of last-minute problems forced a delay. More on these stories, townhall.com.
In 2008, the amount of concentrated time people could spend on a task without becoming distracted was 12 seconds. 5 years later, it was only 8 seconds, 1 second less than a goldfish. If you're often distracted or have trouble recalling information, you're likely to fall behind in the demanding, fast-paced 21st century. In other words, brain performance is more critical now than ever. Boost your brain power with Healthy Cells Focus Plus Recall. Science-backed nootropics to help you sharpen focus, concentrate longer, enhance recall, improve mental speed, learn rapidly, and be more alert. It's a pill-free brain supplement made with maximum absorption ingestible gel technology, designed to feed your brain at the cellular level. Take it for a test drive. Go to healthycell.com and use code GODZILLA for 20% off your first order of Focus Plus Recall. That's healthycell.com, code GODZILLA for 20% off.
Now more than ever, it's imperative to support companies that share our conservative values. That's why I can't be more excited to tell you that I've switched my family to Patriot Mobile. Patriot Mobile is America's only Christian conservative wireless provider. When you switch to Patriot Mobile, you shift your support away from the leftist, woke, progressive agendas of Big Mobile. Patriot Mobile's wireless service works perfectly and seamlessly as you go about your lives with exceptional nationwide coverage that uses the same towers the main carriers use. Patriot Mobile donates a portion of every dollar earned to causes you care about, to organizations that fight for religious freedom, First and Second Amendments, sanctity of life, and the needs of veterans and first responders. Patriot Mobile has plans to fit any budget, along with great discounts for our veterans and first responder heroes, as well as multi-line users. Switching is easy. Just go to patriotmobile.com/Godzilla or call their U.S.-based customer service team, 972-PATRIOT. That's 972-728-7468. Use offer code GODZILLA for free activation.
Hey folks, Al Green here for SatPhone. When you're on the go, you want to know you're connected. If it's a family vacation or an off-the-grid escape to a remote destination, having reliable communication helps you feel safe and secure. You can't afford to find yourself in a dead zone. That's why you need SatPhone. SatPhones are reliable, durable, and give you global coverage. If you can get outside, you can get in touch. It's that simple. Make calls from your SatPhone to any regular cell phone in the United States. The phones are $1,500 value, but you can get yours free. Just sign up for a 15-month plan, $94.95 a month. Get 150 minutes monthly that roll to the next month. Go 3 months without using them, that's fine. Yes, 3 months, 450 minutes, all yours. Visit SAT123.com or call 855-980-5830. SAT123.com, 855-980-5830. Get surety and security with your sat phone. Call now.
Trump 2.0 is in full effect. How do you keep up with all the action? I'll tell you. TrumpNationNews.com is your inside source for the inside scoop. Manufacturing, jobs, deportations, and the nation's rejuvenation. The first 100 days and beyond. All the news you need and no liberal gibberish. It's the perfect way to start your day. Sign up for the TNN newsletter. Do it today. TrumpNationNews.com. TrumpNationNews.com. Part of the John Fredericks Media Network.
1775 Coffee is giving away free starter kits. Try the dark or medium roast coffee with Longevity Blend, an infused blend with anti-aging supplements clinically proven to reduce biological age. When you purchase the first 2 bags, you'll receive a free 1775 starter kit, including a third 16-ounce bag of coffee, a matte black tumbler, a frother, a gold scoop, or a reusable K-cup filter. Just order now at 1775coffee.com/Godzilla and claim your free 1775 starter kit while supplies last.
Bears are who we thought they were. And that's why we took the damn field. Now, if you want to crown them, then crown their ass. But they are who we thought they were. And we let them off the hook.
He's your Godzilla of the truth in America.
It's Godzilla!
No gibberish or nonsense, just common sense. And now back to the John Fredericks Show.
All right, you're on the John Fredericks Media Network, and I am your Godzilla of the truth in America, your oracle of the deplorables. Well, there's a lot of guests that we can have on, and I have a lot on from President Trump all the way down. One of my favorite guests ever to have on my show is the one and only, my friend Mike Lindell, Chairman, CEO of MyPillow. This guy's been knocked down so many times over and over and over. Like me, he's an inspiration. He just keeps getting up, keeps fighting back. They can't get rid of this guy. He is still there. And we are going to go for his inauguration in January of 27 when he is inaugurated governor of Minnesota. Now, that is going to be one of the greatest days since Trump got elected, when Mike Lindell walks into the governor's office. I mean, come on, man. You can't make this stuff up. Mike Lindell, thanks for being with us.
Thanks for having me on, John.
All right, we got a lot to talk about today, but I'm going to start with your governor's race because you're gaining traction, you're raising a lot of money, you're spending it, which I like because you're spending it to get your name out there. Got to go against, the whole establishment and the convention and all that stuff. Yeah. Tell us about your campaign. What are you feeling? What are you seeing, Mike?
Well, when I first got into the race in December, it was, I didn't know all these things that they do. Well, here you go to these, you got to get the GOP endorsement. And they said, well, are you going to honor that? And I said, no. I said, I'm going to run in the primary with whatever the people want, like I did with the RNC. I had to go through that. The people wanted me, but I didn't get voted in. So when I did this, and then you start doing these debates, and we did a lot of these debates in different counties, and they only let you talk for like 3 minutes, or to tell us everything about you, Mike. You got 3 minutes. Time's up. Well, I pulled my whole team in February and said, hey, you guys, we've got to change this. We got to do what I did with the president for 4 years, where I spoke at over 100 rallies with him on that trail, and we did commercials. I did commercials with him, and actually was co-chairman in 2020 of Minnesota, the campaign there. So I took all that in, and I do a little marketing. So we divided Minnesota up into 67 Senate districts. We put teams in every one, and we're going to do my own events, which we've done over 24 throughout Minnesota, both rallies and town halls, and it's been amazing. I want to get the word of hope out that in Minnesota, we've been blue since 1972 in the presidential elections, and we haven't had been governor red, I believe, since 2006. So all these Democrats that have come in, and they're very corrupt. The fraud has been a big blessing for us in Minnesota, especially for my run. We've been able to say, hey, look at this, and it's opened up the people's eyes. I'm talking from Democrats all the way across to Republicans that didn't bother and vote in 2022, that I'm going to get them out to vote. So I've got a very good pathway to win, and I've just got to get that message to Minnesota. One of the things they said, the GOP that's getting pushback, well, and I said, well, Mike, isn't MyPillow bankrupt, and your receipts and your proof and stuff was bad, and all your election that you fought for the fraud for 4 years or 5 years with our election platforms. I said, number one, MyPillow's here to stay. We fought through the most attacked company in history with Arctic Frost and our own government attacking MyPillow. We're still here. We're still standing, and we're still in Minnesota, where a lot of companies have left because it's the highest corporate tax in the nation. And then I said, and as far as the evidence and everything goes with the elections, I said, because they brought up the $5 million challenge, I said, you guys, that was overturned right here in Minnesota by the 8th Circuit. They said Mike was right, and that was last summer. The media is only telling people what they want to hear to bash Mike Lindell. So I fight that, John, and I enjoy that fight. And I use the media. The more they bash me, the more I get the word out. And so that's we have a great pathway to win. I'm highest in the local straw polls that were just done. And then the last poll that came out with the people was a couple months ago. I was number one. And then there's one coming out today where it's going to show the whole nation will see I'm number one. So I feel I'm in a very good place.
Well, you can't. I'm happy you brought the RNC thing up, because when we did polls of the people, the grassroots, you were by far the favorite over Ron and McDaniel. Wasn't even close. But then you get to the delegates, and you got 4 votes. Even though you came to the debate that we hosted and you did great. So you're going to go to this convention. Saturday. You're going to go to this a week from Saturday. You're going to go to this convention. You're not going to win that. They won't even give you the delegates' names. There's all that shenanigans going on. They're going to win.
I'm not saying, John, I'm not saying I'm not going to win it. I mean, it could be the delegates I have talked to out there. I've been to some of these, and as they go out the door, they go, Mike, you changed my mind because of my policies. As I'm governor, I have problem solutions. And to everything that's going on in Minnesota, I've been spending almost a year now looking at everything from our 24 welfare programs, all the teachers. I met with the farmers, so I'm getting prepared for winning. I'm getting prepared for winning, so I don't have to get in office and go, okay, now what do we do? Where do we start? No, it'll be just like the president. We're going to do it all. They said, what are you going to do the first day in office? We're going to move forward on a horizontal track, and everybody, like a bunch of racehorses, let's get everything secure and fixed.
Well, listen, either way, you're going to win that primary in August. That's where you get right to the people. That's where the people vote.
That's right.
The registered Republicans, that's where you've got the opportunity to make a difference, and then go up against Amy Klobuchar, who's going to be the nominee. That's going to be a fun race, Mike, no doubt about it. So, look, love what you're doing, love the passion you're bringing, love the fact, like so many of us, you just get in there, you shake things up. You've been attacked unmercifully. But one of the things you got to say is election integrity. You're all about that. That is moving in our direction. We're now uncovering more and more fraud. You saw the illegal voters going on in California, where they're signing up people, giving them $2, homeless people, to sign a ballot petition. You see it in your own state of Minnesota, where people just walk in, vote. They're not even U.S. citizens. But you were visionary in this, and it's coming together. I don't think, the SAVE Act, maybe we get it to reconciliation, but you were at the forefront of the voter fraud, and now it's all being exposed.
Yeah. We over 4 years, I built the Cause of America, which is 300,000 people strong, working in all 50 states. I built the Election Crime Bureau. We turned in last February. I gave it to the president of the DOJ, a stack. It was about 100 pages. It seems like everything in the country came through our team, the hub. Everything in from the 2020 election, the 2022 election, the 2023. We've got it all. We turned it all in. And now as the DOJ goes through it, and you see like Georgia come out, they came out with the big fight going on there, that they and all of a sudden that famous call with Ratzenberger, all of a sudden they admit there's 300,000 ballots that that weren't accounted for. Where'd they come from? And so this it's been a long fight, but it's not over. Actually, the RNC, when I did run for RNC chair, we passed a resolution. What are we striving for the most secure elections? And it was paper ballots, hand counted, voter ID, precinct level, and same day voting. So as we get there, people say, well, Mike, you're running now in Minnesota. The machines are still here, and there's all this corruption in the elections. Well, you know what? I know where all the receipts are, and I'll tell you, we have teams of people, and not just in Minnesota, but every state. But it's going to be especially in Minnesota, all eyes on this election, where I told people in Minnesota, we're going to have the most secure election based on the cards we're dealt, whatever that footprint is. And this goes for every state too, depending where we're at that time. Maybe you get this pulled back and stopped. Maybe the Save America Act, which I believe has to go through. You start taking away these silos of stealing, and now when they do steal, the deviations show up huge. And I don't believe, John, that the American people are going to fall for this again, where you have all this election crime and it was covered up. I said in the 2020 election, remember, I believe that we have broke through the biggest cover up, or the potential biggest crime in history of taking the United States without firing a shot. We have broke through that. myself, yourself, all of us got the word out for 4 years. Hey, there's problems in our elections, and by our voice never stopping, and now the public all knows it out there. Shows like this. Look at old Brad Rassenberg down in Georgia. He's not going to be governor down there. He did yesterday. He lost by a landslide. So that's nice.
Well, listen, it's all the work that you've done is now coming into fruition, and that's why it's going to be so much fun in this primary, because you have the grassroots, and they might have the endorsements, and they might have the money, and they might have the PACs, and they might have the lobbyists, but you got the people. And I've always said this, they got the money and they got the power, but we got the people, and I'll take the people any day. So that's what you've got. Speaking of people, you got a great mega sale going on in MyPillow. It's unbelievable, up to 80% off. You're moving factories from one end of Minnesota to the other. You don't want to move all that stuff in the warehouse. You want to share it at 80% off with our listeners and so many others. How do they, what are some of the things that you have? Because there's also...
Here's what we have, John. We actually have 3 sales colliding at the same time, everybody. What John's talking about, we moved factories. And during the move, the regulations in Minnesota, it was how high we could put our racking and stuff. So what we did, we rented 120 semi-trucks to put product in. And then as we're doing this, we found all these items that we're closing out that were originally earmarked for the box stores. This is our clothing line. You could talk about comforters. There's all kinds. There's pillows, couch pillows. There's all these different things that we're giving 80% off. And our slippers, we're closing out our slipper line, $29.98 a pair. These were originally $149.98. Once they're gone for good. Then that collides with our second annual mega sale, which is our 4 flagship price. Our Giza Dream Sheets, as low as $29.98. Our 6-piece towel sets, towels at work, $34.98. Then you got our My Pillows. We've sold over 85 million now. The standard size $14.98, and then our mattress toppers as low as $99.98. And there's one more. There's our Memorial Day or Memorial Month. We're calling Memorial Month mattress sale. The mattresses we make right here in the USA, 100% made here, and 6-month money back guarantee, 10-year warranty. And I helped design them with the coil and foam design to give you the best Delta sleep, the sleep where, sleep is all, your body's all about pressure points. You can't find a better mattress anywhere. And believe me, it works. And then we have mattresses we're closing out as low as $299.98. So, John, all these together, and what's that promo code? Godzilla.
Godzilla, baby. All you got to do is go to mypillow.com, promo code Godzilla. MyPillow.com, promo code Godzilla, or some people like to talk to your sales rep on the phone. They love talking to you on the phone. 800-854-0504, 800-854-0504, promo code Godzilla. Mike's got a great team of people. They work on commission. A lot of them stay-at-home moms and dads.
And they speak English. Hold it, everybody. They speak English. It's amazing right here, and they love your calls, everybody. You guys remember my call center, the home reps, they were attacked by our government 2 years ago and said they couldn't work from home, but I fought it in court and I won. And so you guys have gave us so much support over the last years. We couldn't have got through with all the attacks by the grace of God and John, your audience helping us. So you guys reach out. They love hearing my home reps. They love hearing from everybody out there.
And free shipping. Don't forget that.
Free shipping. That's another add-on. That's free shipping. With that promo code Godzilla, you got free shipping on your entire order, no matter how little you order, how much you order, how big your order is. Free shipping. That's on us. That's on myself, my employee-owned company. We did that. I forgot we did that this week for your audience. So
thank you. Dawn did that. By the way, I gave a shout out to Dawn Curtis. We've been working with Dawn forever. I still have her maiden name. She got married. I have no idea. I can't even pronounce it. So I still say Dawn Curtis. But Dawn has been an absolute angel, a gem. She's great to work with. And, it's a testament to your company. The people, you got the same people that are with you now that were there when I first started with you years ago. They're all still there, including Dawn. Dawn's great.
They've all hung in there, everybody, and through all these horrific times over the last 2.5 years. And I want to tell you, John, when I told the president last summer I was thinking of running for governor of Minnesota, we were sitting in the Oval Office, and I said, but my wife and I, he knows my wife, Kendra, we said we got to pray about it. But I said I want to make sure my pillow is secure so that I can go 100% all in for running for governor. And that happened by December, finally, where we were secure. And it's because of your audience and people supporting us and my employees, the faith we have, the prayers we have that were for my company and people like Dawn and my employees. I believe I put my staff and my employees up against any company ever. They have stood by while they get attacked. Remember, they didn't have anything to do with their CEO out there running around going, hey, we got to save our country here and secure our elections. And they were attacked directly by Lawfare and by our own government. I believe we're the only company listed under Arctic Frost, Operation Arctic Frost, that Biden used against all these individuals and senators and one company, MyPillow. It was take down MyPillow, so maybe Mike Lindell will shut up about our election, but it didn't happen.
No, in fact, it's just made you stronger, right? There's an old saying, right? You keep knocking me down. Every time I get up, I'm stronger and better. And that's what you and your employees have done. And again, Dawn Curtis, just a ray of sunshine in my life. So thank you, Dawn, for all you do. And Mike, look, you mentioned the mattresses, okay? At some point, somebody's going to need a mattress, all right? We all do, right? Every mattress that we have in our home is a MyPillow mattress. And, I get up at 3:45 a.m. Eastern. You know that. I got to go to bed early, 8:30, first period of the hockey game's over. I got to go to bed and hope for the best result when I get up. But man, I get in my mattress. I got my MyPillow mattress, my MyPillow mattress topper, my MyPillow comforter, all my MyPillows. And I like the new ones, the ones that are not hot. They're the cooling system.
Yeah.
We got the Giza sheets, got the MyPillow pillowcases, and then I got the MyPillow slippers, MyPillow pajamas.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole thing is MyPillow. It's all house.
It's a MyPillow. It's a rejuvenation station, everybody.
It really
is. And I want to say that mattress that we're having for Memorial Day, that's our lowest price ever, 50% off. And I want to tell everybody, they're easy to set up. They come right to your front door, and they're rolled in a box. I believe we're one of the few mattresses that we designed with the coil and the foam technology that also is so that you're able to get delivered like that. So it's very easy, and you can do it yourself, and you're ready to sleep that night. And you mentioned the Giza Dream Sheets. You guys, there's no sheets like this in the world. It's our president's favorite product. He says it to me all the time. When you sleep on them, that's the one that'll make you late for work. You're kind of snug with them sheets going, okay, just a few more minutes. But you put it all together, and it's just, that's been my passion, to help people get the best sleep ever, to improve their quality of life. And if you look at all the MyPillow products, most of them, they just help you. There's very few just decorative products. I like making products that help people in some way or another. But I guess all my products help people because they save so much money because of box stores canceling us and everybody canceling. There's no middleman, everybody. We didn't keep the prices up here. We lowered them with these sales, with that promo code Godzilla, to give you the best deal ever, right? Even during these times when MyPillow was attacked and all these things, the prices going up because of shipping costs and everything else. What did we do there? We do the opposite of what you think. Instead of raise shipping prices, we give you free shipping. So. But when you don't have those box stores, like when they all canceled us, they take 50 some points, everybody. So you're getting wholesale prices on a lot of these items, and below wholesale. The closeout ones we're closing out is 80% off and even more. And once they're gone, they're gone. And that's our whole clothing line. You mentioned pajamas and that, the slippers, all that. Get them for everything you can for the name. Get all these stuff for your neighbors, your relatives, whatever. The best gifts ever. Get everybody happy and sleeping well during these times we're in.
I know. And I just got to mention one other thing. You have a pet bed. There's a MyPillow pet bed.
Right. Yeah.
I don't know, or a pet blanket. I don't know what you guys have in there, But my cat, like, he sleeps on it the whole time, because when you turn it over, it must have a cooling sensation in it when you turn it over with the blue. My cat Sammy loves his blanket, and because he during the night he's in with the comforter with us in the bed, the bed spread out, pain in the ass. But,
Well, and that's true. The pet beds, dogs and cats, you could mix up a whole bunch of pet beds, and they're going to pick my pillow every time. It's a phenomenon because it's the same patented fill. Remember, it's a patented fill that's in there, that's in the My Pillow. Some of the left-wing media calls them lumpy. It ain't lumpy. They're patented. They're beautiful, and it's the greatest sleeping pillows ever, even for the pets. So I had to come out with the pet pillows, because I was getting calls from everybody that they're in bed and their pets, their cats, or dogs are hogging their pillows. So we had to come out with one for them.
No, you're right. I mean, that's exactly what they do. I get home, and you go to the bed, and the cat's sprawled out on my pillow. It's like, hit the road, dude. Right? Oh my God. Anyway, I sent Dawn a picture of him sleeping on the My Pillow when I was trying to go to bed. I hit the road. So look, all this and the free shipping, you're the inflation buster. Look, folks, just go to mypillow.com, promo code Godzilla, get up to 80% off, free shipping. Do it now. There's something there you need. It's about quality of life, right? Quality of life. Anything you get from My Pillow is going to improve the quality of your life, as it's done for me and for Sammy. And Mike, I want to thank you for all you do. You're the best. Go to mypillow.com, promo code Godzilla, or you can call 800-854-0504, promo code Godzilla. Operators always standing by, and I'm going to be there standing in inauguration when Mike gets inaugurated governor of Minnesota, and is going to drive the left-wing fake news media bat crap crazy. I mean, I can't. It's going to be the greatest day since Trump won the second term. Mike, thanks for being with us.
Thank you. And if you all want to learn about what I'm doing in Minnesota, it's lindellgov.com. Real easy to remember. lindellgov.com. Follow our campaign. And John, I'm looking forward to that day, too. It's going to be amazing.
All right, Mike. Thanks for being with us.
Thanks for having me on.
All right. We'll be right back. You're on the John Fredericks Media Network. I'm your Godzilla of the truth, and we're trucking the truth across America.
Trump 2.0 is in full effect. How do you keep up with all the action? I'll tell you. TrumpNationNews.com is your inside source for the inside scoop. Manufacturing, jobs, deportations, and the nation's rejuvenation. The first 100 days and beyond. All the news you need and no liberal gibberish. It's the perfect way to start your day. Sign up for the TNN newsletter. Do it today. TrumpNationNews.com. TrumpNationNews.com. Part of the John Fredericks Media Network.
1775 Coffee is giving away free starter kits. Try the dark or medium roast coffee with longevity blend, an infused blend with anti-aging calcium alpha-ketoglutarate, which has been clinically proven to reduce biological age. When you purchase the first 2 bags, you'll receive a free 1775 starter kit, including a third 16-ounce bag of coffee, a matte black tumbler, a frother, a gold scoop, or a reusable K-cup filter. Just order now at 1775coffee.com/Godzilla and claim your free 1775 starter kit while supplies last.
The Trump administration has brought a lot of positive changes when it comes to fixing our broken healthcare system, but there is only so much the government can do. And if we really want to make America healthy again, that starts at home, and that's where the Wellness Company comes in. The Wellness Company allows you to make sure you're prepared for whatever happens with their prescription medical kits, which contain an assortment of life-saving medications and guidebooks to assist in the proper use of these medications. The Wellness Company also offers a variety of health products, from parasite cleanses to methylene blue to weight loss and so much more, helping you stay healthy and live a longer, better, healthier life. Make America healthy again. That starts at home. So do your part and protect the health of you and your family. All you have to do is go to twc.health/Godzilla today and order. That's twc.health/Godzilla. Use promo code Godzilla to save 10%. That's twc.health/Godzilla.
Ponder this. We intake oxygen every time we breathe, and breathing is how we stay alive. When God first created man, he breathed life into him. Our Lord also breathed spiritual life into his apostles and filled them with the Holy Spirit at the first Pentecost. Oxygen is a source of life both physically and spiritually. It's the same with fire. Oxygen is needed in order to keep a fire burning, which begs the question, are you on fire for the Lord, or has your spiritual oxygen been extinguished? To answer this, we must go to the source. The source of our spiritual oxygen is the Lord himself. Without him, there is no life within us. Those are his words, not mine. We are called to tap into this life source by baptism, daily prayer, and receiving the sacraments, especially Holy Communion if you are a Catholic, in the state of grace. If we tap into this life source every day, our lives will be filled with the love of the Lord, our spiritual oxygen. I'm Susie Kelly, and I am passionately Catholic.
Hey folks, Al Green here for SatPhone. When you're on the go, you want to know you're connected. If it's a family vacation or an off-the-grid escape to a remote destination, having reliable communication helps you feel safe and secure. You can't afford to find yourself in a dead zone. That's why you need SatPhone. SatPhones are reliable, durable, and give you global coverage. If you can get outside, you can get in touch. It's that simple. Make calls from your SatPhone to any regular cell phone in the United States. The phones are $1,500 value, but you can get yours free. Just sign up for a 15-month plan, $94.95 a month. Get 150 minutes monthly that roll to the next month. Go 3 months without using them, that's fine. Yes, 3 months, 450 minutes, all yours. Visit SAT123.com or call 855-980-5830. SAT123.com, 855-980-5830. Get surety and security with your SatPhone. Call now.
Money for the ballroom comes up for a vote. You're in Congress. Yay or nay?
Right now, I don't feel it's a priority, but the president, I mean, I think we could get a lot of use out of it.
There's two cards, red, green. I mean, there's only
Listen,
two
I
cards.
bleed red.
Are you going to vote yes or no for the ballroom? It's a simple question. Ola.
I don't think it'll ever hit the floor or hit a. There are other things that are
political answer.
priority before the ballroom.
So you're not going to answer the question. I mean, here's the problem. You're running for Congress. People want truth and clarity. I've given you two questions. You hedged on them.
I don't think that the ballroom is a priority.
So you'd vote no.
See, this is the thing. I don't think it's a priority, but I will never go against the president. You can't.
He's the voice of Virginia.
No, you can't. You have one of the worst voices I've ever heard in my life.
And the commander of common sense.
Fire at will, Commander.
Now back to the John Fredericks Show.
Oh, you got him? Great to have you with us. I'm your Godzilla of the Truth in America. General Wesley Clark's going to be with us. I remember when he ran for president. I know when it was because Ann was pregnant with Joe, and Joe's 22 years old. So it's got to be 22 years ago. How I remember that was because our pediatrician was a Wesley Clark for president supporter and handed me a pamphlet. So that's how I remember when he ran for president. 22 minus 28, 26. It must have been, I don't know when that, I did do the math, right? 2004 it must have been. That's how I remember these things, right? Everything has a clock to it in my life. Speaking of clocks, they're off. Colonial Downs, I can't wait. My horse is going there from Churchill Downs. We got our suites going. This summer, the Thunder returns to Colonial Downs Racetrack in New Kent, Virginia. Live thoroughbred racing. Check this out. June 25th. Oh, man, that's almost a month. Through September 7th. Longest meet ever. Now, you can feel the excitement. You can hear the roar of the crowd. Experience Virginia's premier horse racing destination every Thursday through Sunday, all summer long. Bring the whole family for family fun Sundays packed with activities for all ages. Thursday through Sunday, they've added a day. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 4 days. So much fun, folks. Now, parking, free. General admission, free. Memories, priceless, right? Make Colonial Downs a racetrack your new summer fun time tradition. Get tickets and race info right now. Go to colonialdowns.com. That's colonialdowns.com, and you are good to go at Colonial Downs. Can't wait. Join me now, retired General Wesley Clark, former candidate for president. General, thanks for being with us.
Thank you, John. Good to be with you.
Okay, so my wife's pediatrician was a Wesley Clark for President's fan when she had her third child. Our son Joe's home with us now, pitches for Maryland, just got home for a couple weeks, and they didn't make the playoffs. And so I'll never forget going in, and he's telling me about the ultrasound or whatever, and then he hands me this pamphlet. He says, "Hey, I got to tell you about my candidate for president, Wesley Clark." And so it's pretty interesting. So that was Joe's 22, so it had to be 20. So when did you run? 2004?
2003, I announced in September, and I was in the race for about 5 months. We won the Oklahoma primary. We raised over $20 million. It was a great experience. I just loved getting out, meeting Americans. It was an exposure to things I hadn't had a chance to do in the military. And I'd been in the Ford White House as in the Office of Management and Budget. And so I had some exposure to, health and human services and that sort of thing. But to get out and meet people and then get an education in really what America's about. I got to 30 states in 90 days. And people come up to you and they tell you their life story. And it was just so meaningful. I love the experience. Unfortunately, what they said about politics is you'll never have more fun, and then they vote.
Well, you did win the Oklahoma primary, but back then, now I remember 23, right? Because Joe's 22 and takes 9 months to deliver. Maybe that was 3 or 4 months in, maybe a couple months in, right? So it would have been back in 23. But right. If you look at, I don't want to get into that much politics here, but if you look at, you ran for the 2004 nomination, basically a moderate Democrat.
That's right.
If you had your same platform now, you would be part of MAGA conservative, because that party's gone nuts. I mean, it's moved so far from when you ran. It's incredible. Look at this guy, Plattner in Maine. The guy's nuts. Unbelievable. So
I'm not following it actually, to be honest with you, John. I am very concerned about. We have to really think long term for the United States, and we're in a really challenging situation. We've got China, which is they're out producing us in chips. They've got a strategic long term plan, and the truth is about America is we roll over our leadership every 2-4 years, and I don't mean just the president and Congress. I mean the staff officers and so forth. You go in long term against North Korea, and they got experts that have been there watching American politics, or Iran, watching American politics for decades. They know exactly what's going to happen, and they stay there. So we've got the amateurs against the professionals, and the amateur teams always had big advantages: best economy, leadership in strategic nuclear weapons. People who loved us and wanted to come to our country, but eventually people are catching up, and so we've got a real problem on our hands right now with Iran and China. I thought the president, did about as well as he could do going to China. We don't want a war with China, but they've always wanted to say, oh, let's just talk, just us two big guys, we'll talk. And then forget about Japan. We'll take care of Japan. Oh, don't worry about Korea. We got Korea. And Australia, that little country down there, we'll put our people down there. We just talk, big two. That's been China's game for 20 some odd years. When I wrote my last book in 2013, 2014, China was talking about the G2. So we don't want to get trapped into that. America's strength has been our friends, our allies, people who admire our values. When we're dealing with China, at least the Chinese Communist Party that's in leadership, they don't admire freedom. They have a really totalitarian state. And so we don't want to slip into that. So I'm worried about that sort of thing. I'm worried about my grandchildren. What kind of world they're going to live in.
You're on the
I'm sorry, I just don't know this guy running for Maine. I will tell you this though. I was very proud of the United States Army. We, when I was a major in the Army, just made major, I worked in the personnel department for a month before I went to the Ford White House. And they said, I want you to grade these files for these other majors and put them in the top third, middle third, or bottom third. I said, but how do I know? How do you know? I just showed up. How do I know? I said, well, if he's got anything wrong, what he did in Vietnam, he's bottom third. If he's got great reports, he's top third, and everybody else is in the middle. I said, but they said, be careful of the African American officers because they've been systematically downgraded through racism. So if you looked at their efficiency report, they all were nicked in terms of forcefulness, enthusiasm, these qualities that were this is 1960 stuff. They would look at these African American officers and say, oh, well, he's a good guy, but he's not as forceful as a white officer. He's a little shy. He's a whatever. So be careful of that. So I got to look at some really wonderful files and some wonderful officers. I never told Barry McCaffrey this, but he's a longtime great friend, General McCaffrey, and I saw his files and they were wonderful. But I saw 20 or 30 African American officers. You could see the systemic discrimination against them, and so I know it was real and a fact. And I'm very proud of the Army. We've done a lot to overcome that. And I've served some great African American officers that I served under, like Colin Powell and Jim Hall. And I had some great officers that served under me. And I was at West Point last fall. I met some wonderful African American kids up there, officers, and they're all kids to me now, officers and cadets. So I think, maybe the Democrats went over on some areas, but for the armed forces, diversity is still the name of the game because that's who comes in. You got to lead them.
You're on the John Fredericks Media Network, Truck the Truth Across America. We're with retired General European Theater. Wesley Clark is with us, also ran for president in 2003, 2004. General Clark, let's get to Iran, then we'll get to Taiwan. You're very familiar with what is going on there. Gas prices approaching $5. President Trump now threatening to act any day now. What does he have to do to open up these straits, in your judgment, sir?
First of all, we got to be a little patient on this, okay? You can't run foreign policy on 2 cents more a gallon of gasoline. That's nuts. I know that's what people do. People say, oh, no, the price of gasoline's going up. Whoever's in office is going to lose. But, you got a lot of people watching this show, John. They can't make judgments like that. It's just a national vulnerability. So we rushed this with Iran. We didn't consult with our allies, okay, but they couldn't have helped that much, honestly, because they didn't have the precision air power that we have. They can help now. What we have to do, in my view, is open the strait. Just open the strait. You don't even have to get it open. You have to start to get it open and show the Iranians, hey, you got a closed can, well, we got a can opener. And we're going to open that can. And you do it step by step, the way we sent in the 3 destroyers at the beginning. Now, our friends in the Gulf, they're nervous because the Iranian strategy is, you're going to attack us? Well, we're going to attack the Emirates. We can't get New York City. We can get Dubai. And so we have to make sure before we do this, we've done everything we can to protect our allies and friends in the region. But I do think there's still a play there. I think Admiral Cooper knows how to do it. I think we just got to get the conditions in place. Now, I know we're talking about a big strike and taking out all these infrastructure projects, but if I were asked by the president, I'd say hold that in reserve. Keep that over their head. Don't shoot the wad all at once. Just get step by step. Show them that you can't own the Strait of Hormuz. You're going to lose it. And you know the basic rule, John, in any military operation, if you've got a fixed fortification, you got the fortification, I got the time. I'm going to take it down. And we got the assets. Okay, it takes 2 weeks, takes 4 weeks, takes 6 weeks, takes 8 weeks. Okay, it's not going to belong to Iran. Once they understand that, then the negotiations will take a different character.
Do you believe that we should take that we have to take those 5 islands in order to open up the strait and keep it open?
It depends. It depends. Really, what you have to do is you have to change the orders coming from whoever's left in charge in Iran. That's all. And when they realize that, each one of those islands can be taken. Now, they may not be taken immediately. The Emirates want to take Abu Musa back, which is the island that the Shah of Iran stole from the Emirates in 1970 something. But step by step, once you show you're willing to go in, that you will take your time, that they will lose, that it is inevitable, then, it will change.
Let's move to the Asian theater, Taiwan. Obviously, the Chinese, that's been sticking in their throat like a chicken bone for some time, in the words of Leonid Brezhnev back in the day. So how do we convince President Xi that we're going to defend them to the end?
Well, I think you have to be a little bit careful on this because we've always had a policy of ambiguity. We didn't want to say, okay, here's America 100 miles off your shore, stick your nose over here, we're going to hit you. And China is really building up their defenses. What you want to do is create a web of deterrence. So you want to be able to say to the Chinese, you have a choice to China. You could attack, and maybe you'll take the island, but you'll destroy everything on it, and people will hate you, and your commerce is going to fall apart. And in China, they are sensitive to the economy. The Chinese Communist Party has an agreement with the people. Said, keep your mouth shut, support us, we'll make you wealthy. Well, you start cutting into their ability to get employment, take away their wealth, the Chinese Communist Party loses its legitimacy. Xi knows this, so he has to work this very, very carefully. And the idea is just to prolong this, just keep it going. Another 5 years, another 10 years. Let the passions cool. Let people come to power in both countries that say, we can get along. It's the 21st century. Who wants to kill people? Why can't we just, make money, raise our families, find our religious faith, be good people? And I think there's a chance we can do this in Asia. I don't think war is inevitable.
General Wesley Clark, you served as senior commander of the European theater. Our allies in Europe, the relationships are fraying. You were there right in the middle of it back some time ago. What is the genesis of this? What has happened there?
So I think it's a mutual thing, honestly, John. Back in 2010, 2011, under President Obama, there was a pivot to Asia. And we kind of turned over our policy there to Angela Merkel. And she was like, let's ask Angela. She speaks to Russian. She can talk to Putin directly. She's the Chancellor of Germany. Well, we got to look to these Asian tigers. And Obama wanted to do something different. He called it a pivot. But I was doing business both in Europe and Asia at the time. And the way we announced the pivot was we said, we're sending 2,000 Marines to be stationed in Australia. I'm like, what? 2,000 Marines in Australia China's going to be impressed by that? What are we doing? What are we doing? We're telling China that we're going to punch you in the nose with 2,000 Marines in Australia. And of course, it was greatly offensive to China. They always were worried that we had secret designs, that we were against them, etc. So that didn't work. And at the same time, when we turned away from Europe and we turned it over to Angela Merkel, then she had a different agenda than we did. Her agenda was driven by her association from East Germany. She was East German. And after Germany was unified, of course, everybody came together. But she'd been a good young woman in East Germany. I'm sure she cooperated with the East German Communist Party. She spoke Russian. She made straight A's in school. She had a relationship with Putin. And there's always been this tension between the Germans who want to look west and the Germans who are overcome by guilt about World War II and want to make amends. And if you go back and look at TV shows like Babylon Berlin, which is a German series on Netflix, and you see that this communist influence in Germany goes back to the early 1920s. Mm-hmm. And really, Hitler got his start by working against the communists. Right. So inadvertently, under Angela Merkel, we sort of became accommodationists to Putin. So that's when we got the pipeline under the North Sea to bring gas in. And, we knew the Russians were going to use energy against NATO and against our allies. Germany is like, well, we need that energy. And it's a natural thing for us to work with Russia because we're a big industrial power. They have a lot of natural resources, and therefore we'll work with them and we'll be great partners. The problem is, of course, that Putin always had a dream that he would restore the Soviet Union. Even when I was a NATO commander, and Putin, even before he became president, he was prime minister. And the Polish authorities came to me and said, we know this guy. We got to tell you something. This guy's going to try to restart the Soviet Union. He's going to try to take Poland back. And of course, the Ukrainians knew it from the beginning. And we had promised Ukraine we would defend their borders. So in 2014, when the little green men showed up in Crimea, what did we do? Let me tell you, and I don't think Americans know this. The Ukrainians called the United States and said, the Russians are trying to take our territory of Crimea. We got them in our gun sights. We're going to blow them away unless you tell us otherwise. The White House told them, no, don't shoot. Don't shoot. Don't provoke Putin. We'll try to deal with this diplomatically. And of course, it was over in a couple of weeks. I was in Kyiv. The Ukrainians asked me to come over. I was there on the 31st of March, 2014. And I talked to the Minister of Defense of Ukraine. And I said, what happened? He said, well, we just did what you told us. I'm like, what did we tell you? Oh, you told us to give away Crimea. I'm like, what? We told you that? It wasn't public knowledge. I went back to the American ambassador, and he confirmed, yeah, he said, I guess we told them. I'm like, after all the problems in Bosnia in the 1990s, when we tried to tell these poor people in Bosnia, you can't defend yourself, wait for the UN, we wouldn't give them weapons, it's over. We told the Ukrainians they couldn't defend their own country? I mean, what? So this was the genesis. You're asking about Europe, and the genesis was America turned its back on Europe. It wasn't just Europe saying, no, we don't want to work with Americans, we don't like Americans. It was like, you Americans, you got a different agenda now. You're not as committed to us. And here's the other thing, John, that our viewers have to understand. We always did more for defense of Europe than they did for themselves. Why? Because in our interest. We used European terrain. We wanted that buffer zone. We wanted their economy. We knew, and we learned it in World War I, that if you want American democracy and the American economy to succeed, you need Europe on your side, not under the control of a hostile power. So that's the way we've always proceeded. And honestly, and Americans won't tell you this, But I'll tell you this. The fact that they don't do enough in their own defense, we kind of like that, because then we could tell them, you better do this. And they would say, well, if we don't do what the Americans say, we'll have to go back and cut vacations, or we'll have to cut our health care spending along with what the Americans say on this. And so it was, it was an alignment of interests. It was an alignment that was powerful, and they supported us economically. They're our biggest investors. They're our biggest trading partners. They supported us when we had these ideas in the United Nations, and they reflected American values, more or less, of freedom and democracy and that sort of thing. It was a good partnership, but we turned away from them. Now, we're having a problem because Iran, we didn't go to them and say, here's what we're going to do. Partly because we did it in haste, partly because maybe we didn't trust them. But anyway, NATO's been through these things before. We'll be fine. NATO will survive.
We got to go, but I got to wrap with this. Your vision for how this Ukraine-Russian war ends. Dan, hold the music 1 second till we get through this. Your vision for how this ends.
I think Ukraine is going to continue to push Russia until Russia cries uncle.
Wesley Clark, want to thank you for being with us today. And we just lost his feed, so the timing is good there. You can follow him at General Clark, General Wesley Clark, retired four-star general, former NATO commander, Rhodes Scholar, founder at Renew Together, and he's an advisor to at Vote Vets. Virginia Gang is next.
To the news, including Swedish Foreign Minister Maria Malmö Stenegard.
Well, it is confusing indeed, and not always easy to navigate.
NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte seemed pleased with the decision, and so too did Polish Foreign Minister Radosław Sikorski.
I want to thank the President and everybody who contributed to this decision.
Trump announced the deployment on Truth Social, citing strong ties with Polish President Karol Nawrocki. I'm Lawrence Brooks.
Another Trump project proposed for the nation's capital has cleared another hurdle.
About a triumphal arc. It's usually done for victories in war and things.
But Washington, D.C.?
We're the only important and major city that doesn't have one.
But the U.S. Commission of Fine Arts has now given final approval to the design.
Correspondent Ben Thomas says another federal agency would have to approve it before the project could go ahead. Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton touting the president's endorsement as he heads into the final days of his Republican primary runoff against Senator John Cornyn. On Wall Street, ahead of this morning's opening bell, Dow futures are up 356 points. NASDAQ futures 117 points higher. More on these stories, townhall.com.
Health insurance rates are surging in America, leaving millions without affordable options. If you're sick of having paychecks eaten up by healthcare costs or dealing with mega corporations, then listen to this. Christians don't need to waste money on a broken system. That's why I want to tell you about Christian Healthcare Ministries. It's an alternative to traditional health insurance at half the cost. With CHM, fellow believers contribute monthly to help pay each other's medical bills. There's no enrollment period, so you can join anytime. And you aren't restricted to provider networks, so you choose the doctors and hospitals you want. It's that simple. CHM is not insurance. It's a ministry that puts faith into action. Feel the difference of financial support and biblical care from fellow believers. Join CHM today by visiting chministries.org/wellness. That's chministries.org/wellness.
Some unionized
hours before the union's deadline. As part of the deal, Samsung will set aside around 10% of its profit as bonuses for its employees. Each worker in the company's memory chip division is expected to bring home hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of stocks this year. The union's leaders celebrated the deal, but other employees in the company who make TVs and phones will miss out on the windfall.
That's BBC's Jay Kwan in Seoul. Israel says it has released and deported hundreds of activists who took part in a flotilla trying to breach Israel's naval blockade of Gaza. The Israeli Foreign Ministry says that all foreign activists have now been deported. News and analysis at townhall.com. An NFL MVP and Super Bowl champ quarterback has re-signed to a big money deal.
Reigning NFL Most Valuable Player Matthew Stafford has agreed to a one-year contract extension through the 2027 season with the Los Angeles Rams. ESPN reported the deal is worth $55 million. The deal indicates that the 38-year-old quarterback is at least strongly thinking about staying with the Rams past the upcoming season. The Rams surprised the league by drafting Alabama quarterback Ty Simpson with the 13th overall pick last month. I'm Gethin Coolball.
Forecasters expect a developing El Nino could dampen the upcoming Atlantic hurricane season while not completely wiping out the chance of violent weather. NOAA is forecasting a below-average season, a season with fewer named storms and hurricanes. More on these stories, townhall.com.
Bad decisions limit future options. Make enough bad decisions and you will destroy your life. Listen to The Flatline with your host, Rick Hughes, every Sunday morning on the John Fredericks Radio Network. The Flatline describes a main line of resistance in your soul, built on God's Word. Join us every Sunday morning for 30 minutes of inspiration, motivation, and education, all without manipulation. That's The Flatline with Rick Hughes, heard here every Sunday at 8:30 a.m. on the John Fredericks Radio Network.
President Trump is already transforming Washington, D.C., making it the safest, cleanest, and most beautiful city in the world. But we need fighters on the ground to keep it going. I'm John Fredericks, and I'm running for chairman of D.C. GOP Ward 2 to make sure Trump's vision for this city becomes a reality. Safe streets, clean neighborhoods, and yes, rat-free. Go to MakeDCGreat.com. That's MakeDCGreat.com right now and send a donation. Let's finish what President Trump started. Donation limit $200. I'm John Fredericks, and I paid for this ad.
It's finally here, our second annual mega sale. This sale only comes around once a year, so take advantage of the best offers ever while you can. For example, save 50% on our Giza Dream bed sheets, as low as $29.98. And for the first time ever on TV, MyPillow mattresses and MyPillow mattress toppers, as low as $99.98. And you save 50% on our Lux Pure 6-piece towel sets. Regular $69.98, now only $39.98. And our best-selling standard MyPillows, regular $49.98, on sale for $17.98. Wait on it, mega sale, only $14.98. But wait, there's more. To make the mega sale even more special, when you order right now, your order's going to ship absolutely free.
To take advantage of the second annual mega sale, go to MyPillow.com or call 800-854-0504 and use promo code Godzilla. What if those who were once called conspiracy theorists turn out to be right, again? A new study by Korean doctors claimed that COVID vaccines raise the risk of 6 cancers, including lung, breast, and prostate. Researchers analyzed health records from more than 8.4 million adults between 2021 and 2023, and their findings were published in Biomarker Research, a respected scientific journal. Critics dismiss it, but the data raises concern that spike protein exposure may be tied to long-term health risks. And Dr. Peter McCullough has been aware of this since 2020, which is why he collaborated with the wellness company to create Ultimate Spike Detox, designed to help your body clear spike proteins, reduce inflammation, and support heart health. With natural ingredients like nattokinase, dandelion root, and bromelain, it is your daily proactive defense from a man-made virus. Don't wait until symptoms strike or something unexpected happens. Experience the only formula approved and used by Dr. McCullough, one of the top doctors who risked it all. Go to twc.health/Godzilla. That's twc.health/Godzilla and use promo code Godzilla to get 10% off plus free shipping.
Now more than ever, it's imperative to support companies that share our conservative values. That's why I can't be more excited to tell you that I've switched my family to Patriot Mobile. Patriot Mobile is America's only Christian conservative wireless provider. When you switch to Patriot Mobile, you shift your support away from the leftist, woke, progressive agendas of Big Mobile. Patriot Mobile's wireless service works perfectly and seamlessly as you go about your lives with exceptional nationwide coverage that uses the same towers the main carriers use. Patriot Mobile donates a a portion of every dollar earned to causes you care about, to organizations that fight for religious freedom, First and Second Amendments, sanctity of life, and the needs of veterans and first responders. Patriot Mobile has plans to fit any budget, along with great discounts for our veterans and first responder heroes, as well as multi-line users. Switching is easy. Just go to patriotmobile.com/Godzilla or call their U.S.-based customer service team, 972-PATRIOT. That's 972-728-7468. Use offer code Godzilla for free activation.
John Fredericks.
It is the most egregious thing I've seen in a lifetime.
President Trump.
The whole thing is ridiculous.
When politics start getting wild,
They want to have every single thing that you don't want. Raise taxes, men and women's sports. They're going to open up their border.
Trump hits the speed dial.
Thank you for calling in on such short notice.
You came first, John.
Wake up with the John Fredericks Show weekday morning, 6 Eastern, 5 Central on JFMN.TV, the massive J-Fred radio network, and all across the socials.
You came first, John. Thank you very much, and you do a great job.
Don't touch that dial. You found your home of the truth.
Do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
With the best analysis in America.
You can't handle the truth.
And now back to the John Fredericks Show.
Well, it's Friday, and we got a 3-day weekend coming up. Best stuff on Monday, but what better day to end this week than with the Virginia gang who is coming up right now. We have a special guest coming. Our good friend, me and Ann's very good friend, Ben Tribbett, is going to be gracing us with his presence. So, Dan, we're going to have like a 10 box going on here. Don't forget Washington, D.C. Don't forget, I want all of you to come to my big campaign victory party. Dan, you can put that up on June 16th, 6 to 9 p.m. at City Tavern, iconic City Tavern in Georgetown. It's going to be so great. And Corey Lewandowski, our featured speaker, he's going to be there. Treasurer, U.S., Brandon Beach, one of our speakers as well. Also, hey, don't forget Morgan Griffith, Freedom Caucus, Congressman, 9th District, Virginia, all going to be there. So we want you to join us. Tickets are $50. This is our great victory party trying to keep D.C. safe, keep it beautiful. My campaign for D.C. GOP Ward 2 chairman. And all you got to do is go to makedcgreat.com, makedcgreat.com, and you can buy tickets there to this great event. Going to have so much fun, plenty of food, open bar. Oh, you know what? Got to have fun, got to have food, got to have fun. So we're building something here in the second ward, really special. Got town halls coming up, so we're really excited about it. And just go to makedcgreat.com, makedcgreat.com, and you can donate to my campaign. And let me call out some of our donors that are right here. Jim Hobgood donated to my campaign. Thank you, Jim. Bryce Reeves donated to my campaign. Thank you, Bryce. Okay, Chap Peterson donated to you all guys donated. Thank you. Joe Morrissey donated to my campaign. George Allen's the only one left. We got to shake him down when the show's over for $200. Other than that, we ran the board. We didn't ask John Reed because he doesn't have a job yet, so we're gonna give him a break. But first minute that
I came and spoke at your announcement party.
I know
Don't forget
you
that.
did that. So we'll give you that. You had to pay for your own expenses. So we saved you. But Jim Hobgood, we shook him down too. Jim, thank you.
You're most welcome.
The best one was Chap Peterson's. Sent me the nicest little note with that, Chap. Thank you for doing that. You and Sharon. Guys are the best. Rumor has it that Ben Tribbett is going to be joining us, but it's good. We got to start with Senator Allen. I mean, with gracing us with his presence here. Senator, thanks for being with us. Last time you're looking fabulous. Last time I saw you, we were still fighting the redistricting. We had the bus there. I think Jen Kiggins was there. You were the featured speaker. We almost defeated it, but then got it defeated in the Virginia Supreme Court. Just, Senator, what do you think of this whole thing?
Well, I think John, good to be with all y'all and on your show and the Virginia gang. The people of Virginia won on this gerrymandering effort. And it's always great when the rule of law and the Constitution is upheld. And while it was a really narrow victory on their side in the referendum, you looked at the way that people in Virginia voted. Republicans were all unified, and we actually won the independent vote, which is crucial to winning in Virginia for either party. And the Supreme Court, in upholding the law and the Constitution, because you can't amend the Constitution by ignoring and violating the Constitution, the fact that it was so close and so narrow probably gave them some comfort. If it had passed 60-40 by 20%, they would have said, "Oh my goodness, we don't want to overrule." But it was so very, very close. And the reality is that Virginians, 2/3 of them, just a few years ago, 2.7 million, said we want independent, bipartisan commissions drawing up districts, not conniving politicians. And my view, and Chap and I were together on the No Gerrymandering Virginia group, which was a bipartisan group. I still have the Virginia Tech football behind me, Chap, from when we spoke to that second Monday group in the New River Valley. And the reality is that Virginians felt that this was wrong, what was trying to be done. And my view is any political party, Republican or Democrat, that needs to cheat and rig elections must not have a lot of confidence in the popularity of their ideas or the quality of their candidates. And so I like to see, I don't like gerrymandering, period, in any state. And I know, John, this is going to be contrary to you, so this will be the last time possibly that I'll be on this. But, and John Reed knows how much I love Texas and Tennessee, and I wish Virginia was much more like them in their freedom-loving ways. But I think what Texas did in this abnormal mid-decade gerrymandering was wrong. What the great folks in Tennessee did, and I wish we had the laws of Tennessee, fireworks, no income taxes, all the rest. But what they did to the people in Memphis and Shelby County, and stringing them out in these long districts is the same thing that Democrats tried to do to people in the Shenandoah Valley, Tidewater, and outside of Richmond by giving it all to Northern Virginia, or 5 districts to Northern Virginia. So I think districts should be compact with communities of similar interests and let the people decide who their representatives are rather than the contortions of politicians.
Well, I have to commend you. Unlike me and John Reed, you have been totally consistent in that view. So we don't have really a leg to stand on with that. I just want as many Republican seats as I can.
I understand that, but I like to win fairly.
Honesty is the best policy. Now, we got not only are you with us, but we got a bonus here today. Our good friend Ben Tribbett is with us. My wife Ann seldom really gets around to watching the show, but I told her Ben Tribbett was coming on. She's like, "What time?" I'm tuning in, putting him on TV. And just a week ago, Ben sends me this beautiful text. He's like, "Hey, how you guys doing? Thursday. I got the suite at the Nationals game. But I want you and Ann to come." He could invite me to the Capitals game, but he's banned from going there, so he can't do that. That's just shameful. But thank you, Ben, for that. It's good to see. It's good to see you, Ben.
Good to see you.
Ann loves you. Why does Ann love you so much? She's like, Ben says, "Hey, we're going to the casino," and I'm like, and Ben says, "We're going to the casino." She's like, "When? What?" He goes and gambles with Ben. Unbelievable.
Well, I want to talk about this referendum, John. I mean, I keep hearing this talking point that the referendum passed narrowly, and I'm trying to figure out where this is coming from. The referendum actually passed by a margin larger than Glenn Youngkin won by, and no Republican in Virginia has won by a margin as large as the referendum since 2009. So I don't think it was a close referendum at all. I thought it was very clear. And Glenn Youngkin claimed a mandate for 4 years as governor, winning by a smaller percentage in this referendum.
I'll let Reed weigh in on that. Is Reed there, or Reeves? Go ahead, Reeves.
Well, I first, it's good to see my good friend Ben Tribbett. He and I were talking yesterday about stuff. I think it's more, Ben, rather than actual numbers, is how close Republicans feel like they came on short notice. The data might say one thing, but I can tell you from the enthusiasm, Ben, Republicans are kicking the Democrats' ass right now. Excuse my language. And I've never seen our gang so excited about the infighting. Quite frankly, the governor, and she hadn't learned how to lead. And, this was just a big win for us. I was out there. I wasn't out with Governor Allen and Chappie, but just because of all the crap we had going on. But the reality is, I think Republicans feel like they got so close. And the numbers really reflect the last presidential election for us when Trump was on the ballot. And this was another Trump, I would say, a Trump driven issue, more or less. So people, we all watched Chap's old law partner get on the floor of the Senate, and the first thing he starts to talk about, Senator Servo, is it's Trump's fault. Everything's Trump's fault. And I just really feel like we did pretty good, and we feel like we won. We didn't take the numbers per se, but I think overall Republicans feel like they came out of that race as winners.
Chap?
Well, I mean, I'm with Governor Allen. I don't like redistricting. I don't like gerrymandering out of cycle. I didn't like it when the Republicans, sort of tried to do it back in 2013. I didn't like it when the Democrats did it. Bottom line is, I mean, Ben's correct that the referendum passed. By the same token, when you consider that it went from a 17-point margin to Abby Spanberger to a 3-point margin for the referendum, when you had not really a single statewide official or anybody of any import other than Governor Allen opposing it. I was getting nightly TV commercials from Barack Obama and everybody else, and the Pope, and I don't know, everybody was in favor of it, right? And yet it only passed by 3 points. And I think at the end, look, we're at we live in an age of hysteria, and the hysteria right now, and it has been anti-Trump, and eventually 2 years from now, people look back at it. It was kind of like during COVID. That was a lot of hysteria. And you look back and it was stupid. And, I disagree with what's happening all over the United States. I don't like what's happening. And I said that plainly to the Lieutenant Governor of South Carolina. I didn't like the fact they were going to redraw their maps to basically dilute minority votes. I don't like that. I didn't like it in Virginia. So, I'm like Governor Allen. I'm consistent, but of course I'm also out of office. So who the hell cares what I think? But Ben, it's great to see you. And we got to catch up and go to a Caps game or something.
Oh, he can't go to a Caps game. They banned him. He should give me his season tickets.
Well, we can't. I don't have Redskins tickets anymore. All right, we'll think of something. Maybe a baseball game.
He go to a baseball game. He goes to the Nats waste. But
John, let me give you a commendation. I follow your sports prognostications, and early on, you talked about the Montreal Canadiens.
That's right.
And they are just and they're my favorite team ever since I was a kid. They're my favorite team, and I didn't think they'd get past Tampa, but here they are, and I'm stunned that they got through Buffalo. But you picked that, so you ought to get. I'm going to give you some kudos for picking Les Habitants.
Early in the season, I said they were going to end up being the most dangerous team. And then going into the playoffs, I'm like, you don't want to play them. They're 19 years old, like they're skating around on an outdoor hockey pond having fun. And they went to Carolina last night and kicked their ass. I mean, just kicked the crap out of them. And I don't even think Carolina saw what was coming. They hadn't got beaten a game. And right now they're in the catbird seat. So you want to follow me, go to Godzilla Wins, GodzillaWins.com. You can get that Saturday, 9 to 11 a.m. And every day I make my picks on Godzilla Wins. Go to GodzillaWins.com. Senator, thank you for that great intro promo. Oh, Ben, what's going on with the Democrat Party? You guys won by 16. Everybody won. Everybody's happy. You got a majority. And now everybody's fighting. And, Spanberger's vetoing the public service bill. And then she did the thing in Northern Virginia. She didn't even tell Scott Suravel. And he's mad at her. What the hell's going on, Ben?
This one's a mystery. I think my take on this is that she has a lot of DC people that are advising her to do stuff as if she was in Washington, and that Richmond works differently, and there's a lot of relationships. And you see when there have been successful governors, even when they didn't necessarily control the General Assembly, they built relationships and were able to get their bills passed. And I think this governor came in, did not have relationships, did not build relationships, and then saw people not really care what she thought. And now I'm taking this sort of veto train as sort of a temper tantrum. But, you know, when you look at history, at least in the modern era, you know, governors tend to get things done in their first year if they have a mandate, and in their third year when they get their shit together. And I think that her failures in the first year is because she really didn't campaign on much. She never really said much during the campaign. It was all sort of generic, happy talk. And so she didn't really come in with an agenda to pass. And that led to a lot of confusion in the first year of what the General Assembly didn't know what she wanted. And they didn't do a good job of articulating that. So that's kind of where I think it is. And I think she has time to get it together before the third year. But, you know, next year, major legislation is not going to pass. It's an election year for the General Assembly. They're all on the ballot 3 months later in a primary next year when they adjourn. So, and you never get anything done in your fourth year of substance because it's an election year. So I think she's got one more bite at this apple, or she's going to go down as a failed governor.
Morrissey, you want to weigh in?
Sure, be happy to. First of all, I'd like to say hello to the fellow gang members. You talked a little bit about football, so it might be important to give a shout out to one of the Redskins' greatest head football coaches ever, and that's George Allen Sr., who brought in the Ramskins and the Over the Hill gang, which all of us are now a part of.
Yes, the Over the Hill gang.
Good to see the former governor and the other fellow gang members. First of all, I disagree with Ben. Ben, this was a close referendum. It was 51.7 to 48.3. Put as much lipstick as you want on it. There was a misleading language in the referendum, and the Democrats squeaked by. With regard to Spanberger, it's not that I'm a great friend or ally ever. We've never spoken a day in our lives, but I think she's governing smart. She's governing from the middle. She's not beholden to the far left, Louise Lucases of the world that are telling her to do this and that. I do not see her as failed. All right? I do not see her as a failed governor in this first term. I see somebody that is introspective, that somebody is trying to, as I said, govern for the middle.
Well, Joe, I like some of the things she did. I like the fact, Ben, I like the fact that she vetoed the public service union collective bargaining, which we railed against forever because that was going to raise property taxes, unelected bureaucrats deciding on how much local government has to spend. She vetoed. Nothing happened with right to work. She didn't do anything there. I was happy with that. Then you get to the games and the convenience stores, skill games. She knocked that out. That's gone. Then we got to iPhone gaming. I hate that. She knocked that aside. So, Ben, maybe she's not so bad.
I don't think she's knocked any of those things aside. I think she said that she's open to all of it. That's been one of her problems is when the Secretary of Finance came and testified a couple weeks ago, what he said was she's open to all these things. They just want to sit down in a room and decide on them as a package. So I wouldn't assume that she's opposed to any of those individual things. She's opposed to doing them as one-offs. And I think a great example of how incoherent she has been is the fact that she signed the Family and Medical Leave bill, which is expensive to do. I think I personally support that. I like the concept, but it's an expensive proposition to go bring a state-level Family and Medical Leave Act. And then she vetoed or put away all the bills that create revenue that would pay for that. So she doesn't really have a coherent policy yet, because if you're going to go sign the FMLA bill, which is, some people would argue could be argued as a really big tax increase, then you better also sign some bills that are going to create that revenue.
John Reed, you want to comment?
I'm just enjoying watching the Democrats beat the hell out of each other, to be honest with you. I think it's well-deserved, and I heard from several people who still speak to me who are Democrats that they anticipated that Governor Spanberger would arrive in Richmond with no friends and without a staff and team that was well prepared to work directly with the General Assembly. And I think that's what we're seeing here. I kind of doubted that. I thought surely this woman who just campaigned all over the state and is not completely new to Democrat politics and grassroots activist politics would have a couple of people in there who could work with Senator Lucas and the Speaker and the other power brokers within her party. But the entire time, sitting, a couple of rows back, I'm not in the room, and I'm just hearing things from friends. It seems like there's been a great deal of tension. And, Governor Allen knows you arrive at the Capitol as the governor, and suddenly you got to, jump in and start working with these people. It just doesn't seem like she had the people around her who were capable of monitoring and engaging with the General Assembly. She's got to turn that around fast, because what's happening right now, as a Republican, I'm enjoying watching it because I don't like any of these things that she's pushing, and I think it's going to ruin Virginia business, but this is not good for the state.
I'm kind of confused here because we've got a Democratic governor that is not beholden to the Scott Servals, Don Scotts, Louise Lucases, and is showing some testosterone, some independent thinking, and I'm surprised that other gang members aren't saying, hey, that's not a bad thing. That, in fact, is a good thing to be an independent thinker. I could care less.
Because that's not what's happening, Joe.
Yes, it is.
She's not being
exactly
independent.
What's happening.
She doesn't know what she's doing.
Hold on a second. She vetoed this collective bargaining. I can't remember who just said it a moment ago. I think it was Fredericks. And it was that. Can you imagine the amount of money that it would cost Virginians, R's, D's, E's, whatever, if we had every union, a public union in the state, clamoring for more and more and more and more money, which is exactly what she did. It wasn't a well thought out piece of legislation, and she vetoed it. And kudos to her for doing it.
Right.
Well, let me chime in here. You also remember she tried to punt that thing to put an effective date when she was out of office. So she's certainly trying to keep her record clean before she gets picked up in 28 for a VP nod or something else. I mean, look, and the reality is I couldn't tell you one of her staff people, not one. And, I'm not saying I'm a sliced bread or anything, but the reality is I couldn't tell you. They've never even come to my office, and I'm number 9 in seniority, and I'm on Senate Finance. I was on Commerce and Labor, and that's a whole nother topic where I got ripped off because she has thin skin. When I called her, I said the only difference between her and Mondami is Mondami has the guts to admit he's a socialist in the New York Times article. Next thing you know, I'm ripped off of Commerce and Labor and put on local government at the end of the dais. So, she's governing not for the Commonwealth. She's governing for her political future. And she has an awesome opportunity right now to truly reach out to the minority party and actually get some of these things done with her. But she doesn't do that. She's invited some of our colleagues that aren't in leadership for a breakfast, I think once in the governor's mansion. But look, she was my congresswoman, and Ben knows this. I call balls and strikes with her all the time. I was thrilled she vetoed the marijuana bill. But again, that's a revenue bill, like Ben mentioned, that they've got to start finding this revenue. And they need to get to the table. They got to figure out this thing. Do they want data centers? Do they not? I asked that question in Senate Finance 2 days ago, and Secretary Sickles, former delegate, who's the finance guru for the state now, read a letter out loud about a major data center company coming in, and that they're not coming anymore. And then we have that $100 billion one in Southside Virginia. And Southside Virginia, as Governor Allen knows, needs these things. These things print money in rural districts that they can't even get. I talked to the supervisor in Louisa, because it used to be my district. It'd take them 110 years to get that kind of revenue they have now. And so we can walk and chew bubble gum, but you've got to include people that want to get things done, not just look for her political future.
Let's let Ben respond to all this.
No, I mean, it's First of all, I couldn't tell you a single member of the General Assembly she has a good relationship with. So if there was going to be one person to be an intermediary that would go back and forth with her and leadership, I couldn't tell you one person that she has a good relationship with that, is known to be friendly with her, right? So she from what I can tell, she has no friends. And I don't know how you all can praise the vetoes that she's making when she is putting out statements with them that says she does still support those things. She's vetoing them and saying, I support it, but I want to do it slightly differently, or I want to do it after I leave office, but she's not opposed to those things. She hasn't put out a single veto statement on any bill that says she's actually opposed to it. And she keeps sending signals that she seems to want to do all the things that are in the bills she's vetoing, but maybe as a broader package. And so I don't think we even know where she is on policy. We don't know what things, we still don't know.
Correct.
Whether or not she supports any of these things. We still don't know what it would take for her to sign them. And so, I would just say that as a cautionary thing, if you're going to praise her on, well, she vetoed the collective bargaining. She says she supports the collective bargaining.
Yeah, but she vetoed it.
It's incoherent. So how do we even know what she's actually going to do next? Like, it sounds to me like she supports the collective bargaining if you put it into a package with something else that she likes.
Well, I don't know. Governor Allen, Ben said she doesn't make any friends. Well, either did Glenn Youngkin when he didn't make any friends either. I mean, that was the biggest criticism on the Youngkin administration is they didn't like his chief of staff. They never really engaged with the General Assembly. You were governor. Is this criticism accurate?
Yes, in many respects. It's surprising to me that Glenn Youngkin was kind of a novice in politics. He'd never run before and so forth, came from business. The thing that surprises, but nonetheless, he had Barry Knight as chairman of the House Appropriations Committee that first year, and they had delays, this, that, and the other. Barry Knight was the best chairman of House Appropriations I ever seen. He called himself a pig farmer, but he was a horse trader, and he was able to work with Louise and Torian and all the Democrats. I'm glad Ben is nodding in agreement, because Barry was someone who did know the system, and to the credit of Governor Youngkin, I remember saying to him, I said, hey, you just can't let these folks go on and on and on without getting a budget his first year. And they said, well, Barry Knight says to wait, and it all worked out. And he got a budget that it didn't get everything he wanted, but he got a substantial amounts of it by working it out. And this is what's surprising to me about the Spanberger administration is she does have members of the General Assembly as part of her cabinet. Obviously, it's the Secretary of Finance, which is absolutely essential as far as the budget and appropriations and those priorities. And so it's surprising to me, this disconnect, this lack of communication. I think it'll all get worked out. Ben's right that, I'm glad she vetoed the marijuana bill because I don't think this is good for Virginia, period, but she's still for it. The collective bargaining, I'm really glad she vetoed that. But as Ben said, she says she's for it. And when you want to know what she would be for, some of her amendments were very detailed. They were substantive. And so if you want to know, what she would sign we'll look at the amendments that she proposed. What was surprising to me is the Democrats in the same party, it's just such a slap in the face to not even vote on her amendments. To me, that is just so insulting. And so she needs to exercise her authority responsibly, get a reset with the legislature. It shouldn't be that difficult because they're all in the same party. And I think there'll be a lot of things worked out. There's a lot of gamesmanship, a lot of leverage is being played with this budget situation. And Ben made another point that this is rare, that Ben and I had never actually been together on anything that I can recollect. But I think it'll get worked out in the budget. For example, they do need revenues. And Louise Lucas is against the sales and use tax exemption for data centers, which I think is terrible. And I could get into that separately and on how that really signals. It's a very bad signal to anybody wanting to invest in Virginia that Virginia won't keep its word. In fact, I'm going to use this analogy. It'd be like if you had a 30-year fixed rate mortgage and your bank, 10 years into the mortgage, into paying it off, says, well, we're switching this to a variable rate, and now you're going to have a higher interest rate. And you say, wait a second, we invested in data centers thinking that there's no sales and use tax until the year 2030. And now you're going to switch it? That is not the kind of certainty, stability, and credibility you want for a state to do business. But I could see the skill game issue that passed the legislature, which is a big issue for a lot of small businesses, truck stops, and so forth. I could see that revenue gap being either. I think they'll stick it into the budget and put policy in the budget to get the hundreds of millions of dollars of taxes on skill games, or they've come up with this latest one just saying, well, we're in a special session, Governor, you can introduce bills still. So this heading up to the end of the fiscal year is going to be fascinating maneuvering and leverage with it all. And so there's been enough damage done in this session, by the way, that you're just saying, great, and it's great she vetoed the collective bargaining, but that's going to come back. It's going to come back one way or the other, and I think it could come back next year. But let's look at the things that have been done that's deleterious to Virginia and our competitiveness. And Virginia's now has the highest income tax rate on work in the South, are at 5.75%. North Carolina's at 3.9. Tennessee's at 0. South Carolina is on a trajectory down. Georgia's much less. Obviously, Tennessee's got 0 state income tax, as does Florida and Texas. Now, they talk about affordability. Excuse me?
You forgot West Virginia, 3%.
Yeah, West Virginia, 3%. Kentucky's less than us as well. Good point. And West Virginia, Governor Morrissey in West Virginia, they are intending to get these data centers in that eastern panhandle area, and they're co-locating the data centers with the power plant. So you don't have to worry about the high voltage power lines, which are an aggravation to a lot of folks anyway. But here's what Virginia's already done. They've joined this regional greenhouse gas idiocy, this regressive tax that's going to add another 3 or 4% to everyone's monthly power bill. This is in addition to the 10% that's added on for the coastal Virginia offshore wind boondoggle that'll operate 40% of the time and have the highest per kilowatt cost of electricity in the entire country. They also have obviously this VCEA and the renewable mandates, all these riders, these surcharges adding 16% to everyone's monthly power bill. They also, this payroll tax for paid family leave and all that. These are costs. This is a tax on employers and employees, and the paid leave things. It's going to get down to people with as little, just in 2 or 3 years, as little as 1 employee. Now, they say, well, this is a great thing. And most people, you'll poll it, yeah, sure, they ought to get paid family, sick leave, all that. Well, there's only a dozen states that have done that. If it's such a great idea, why have only a dozen states done it?
Because if you're a small business and, Jim Hopgood's son is here, if Dan goes on medical leave for 6 months and I got to pay him, well, then I got to hire Dan's replacement. Now I'm paying 2 people. That's not in our budget. That means I got to start cutting things back. I mean, small businesses just can't absorb this. But
and they say, and then she proudly, as she signs the payroll tax for paid sick leave, we're the first state in the South to do this.
It's crazy.
But and you know what the states in the South are saying? Great, this is going to give us yet another competitive advantage in attracting investment. And, they say, we're the only state in the South that's legalized marijuana. Well, that's not necessarily going to help have a coherent workforce. We're the only state in the South that has abolished the death penalty. I mean, it's just this kind of stuff is putting Virginia further and further behind.
You're taking the position that weed decreases productivity. Let's get to Jim Hobgood here. Jim, you've been in sports and stuff ever. Do you think the proliferation of weed hurts somebody's productivity? I mean, you go out right now, you smoke a cigarette, right? Well, you smoke a weed, you go back to work. Maybe you're better.
Well, I have visited an ABC store once in a while, but I've never smoked weed or cigarettes for that matter. And hello to all the panelists, including Governor Allen. He and I overlapped at UVA back in the day. I know he's soured a little bit on the Who's and moved over to Tennessee these days. But, clearly when you talk about Abigail, she has ambitions beyond the governor's mansion. Now, to what degree is that influencing some of these vetoes and other decisions? I don't know. But the other thing I'm sitting here thinking, including the governor that's on the panel, he was in the legislature before he became governor. And that, when you think back to the recent governors, many of them were in that category. And I think by doing that, you learn the process and you also establish relationships that would really help you if you were to become governor. I worked for French Slaughter for a period of time, and French was in the legislature a long time before he got to Congress. And I quoted him many times. He said 90% of the members of the General Assembly want to be governor, but only 10% will admit it. So, but it's sort of moving up the ladder to some extent. And Governor, I'd ask you, how much did it help you as governor that you had experience in the legislature?
That's a really good question and apt perspective. I think it helped a great deal. Now, when I came in as governor, we ran on a very audacious agenda to abolish parole, put in truth in sentencing, welfare reform, high academic standards, accountability in schools, freezing college tuition, all of those. But the Democrats were in the legislature, the majority. And so I think it's important to run on an agenda. And if you're given the honor of serving by winning, that helps you get those ideas through. And having served in the minority in the legislature, you did have relationships with people in both parties, and understanding that they're not going to be with you on every issues, but there be certain issues. And I remember my last year, we got through the parental notification bill for an unwed minor daughter having an abortion, and there were a few Democrats who in those years that been killed 17 straight years, and we finally got it through my last year as governor. And but there were some Democrats who I know had voted for it in the past, but never had enough votes to get it through the Senate with their ways they tie it up in committees and procedures. But it helped a great deal, and understanding the mindset of legislators and appreciating it and realizing, okay, on this issue, they'll be with me. This one, they're going to be absolutely against. But you try to find a few that you can find common ground with on specific issues. And the other thing as a legislator is you actually do learn about how state government works. When you're having to do constituent service, there'd be so many times where people, mothers with children were being, the deadbeat father was not providing child support. And so there was key people you had to talk to. Hey, that stack of delinquent child support, can you please find so-and-sos from Standardsville to find, or Ruckersville, or wherever they might have been from, to get to it. And or procurement. Wanted to help out Virginia businesses on flush valves, believe it or not. Coyne and Delaney made flush valves and wanted them to be on the specs for a new school or some state business. So I knew, or a state building. And so I knew who to contact in general services. Hey, can you put in or equivalent to Sloan? So the point is you deal with the finance people in your bills, you deal with a variety of different agencies. And so as governor, I came in knowing these folks. I brought in people who shared our principles. But I did keep, for example, Governor Wilder's, my priority was economic development and letting the world know Virginia was open for business. Governor Wilder had to worry about finances, and he had a fellow named Paul Timrick and the finance crew, and Virginia has a balanced budget requirement. And so I asked Governor Wilder's Secretary of Finance to stay on, because you come in, you're running at a full gallop with a loose cinch if you want to get things done. And your first year is absolutely essential. And so we kept them on. And these are professionals. They may not have even voted for me.
And he was at a different party. You were a Republican. He was a Democrat.
Right. But I knew him. I knew him and had worked with him. And a fellow named Ron Tillett, who ultimately became my Secretary of Finance, that I'd worked with him on various issues through the years.
Right.
And I said, these guys were professionals. They were not partisans. And so you bring in people from the outside, from the inside, from your campaign. But again, if having that experience, Bob McDonnell was that way too. Ralph Northam had served as state senator and served as lieutenant governor and was very knowledgeable. McAuliffe had a hard time because he came out of the blue. But Northam was much more successful. You can argue whether it was good or bad, but the point is Northam was much more successful, even with the opposition party, than was McAuliffe. And I think a lot of it was those relationships and understanding that he had. And I Governor Spanberger is obviously having a tough time her first year, but they've done enough detrimental damage, and hopefully don't do any more. But Virginia's got to get on a different trajectory, because we are falling behind, gentlemen.
So Ben, how would you? First of all, Governor, you said you and Ben never agreed on much. You both agreed on keeping the Redskins name, and Ben was one of the biggest fighters in that anywhere in the country, and so we.
Is that true?
Oh yeah, Ben was a Ben.
I missed that. That's interesting.
You missed
that?
They
let you stay in the party, Ben?
Well, Louise Lucas was the head of the Redskins Pride Caucus with Chap.
Yeah.
I completely missed it. I'm shocked.
Oh,
Okay.
Ben was a beast. I mean, he went all over.
Look at that helmet.
That's beautiful.
He was trying to keep those names, and he was actually an employee there. They had hired him on, and he was doing a social media campaign. His ads, by the way, are still classic today. Great job, Ben.
Well, Louise Lucas is related to D'Angelo Hall.
Yeah.
And Louise and I, there's one thing, and maybe it's in sports, and I wish there were more sportsmanship, but I mean, you got to kind of enjoy the bump and run of politics. Jim Moran, congressman from Alexandria, we would agree on 2% of things, but we'd enjoy having that sparring, and we worked together to reopen Reagan National Airport after it was shut down after 9/11. It was good to have it bipartisan against the Bush administration and the Secret Service, who was paid to be paranoid, and they'd keep it closed forever if we're up to them. But the fact that Jim Moran, Congressman Moran, and I said, look, you're going to have to compensate these concessionaires if you keep it closed. And so they reopened it. But it does help. And the fun thing, Jim Moran refused to call it Reagan National Airport. He would just call it National because he hated being named after Reagan. But the point is, you got to have some enjoyment of the bump and run and the pugilistic aspect of politics. And maybe that's from growing up in the world of sports, where you see boxers trying to knock each other's heads off, and after the bout is over, if they're both standing, they hug each other. Or in rugby, Chap and I played rugby. Chap's still playing rugby. After the game, you all shake hands and drink beer and sing ribald songs. But there should be more sportsmanship and be gracious in victory as well, and magnanimous as well as not being a sore loser.
I'm going to get Joe in. Joe, you got a comment to make. Go ahead.
John, first of all, with regard to the governor's comments, I always believe that, there's a good thing to have some pugilism involved in politics like you do in sports. One of our famous governors once said something about, knocking that soft teeth down some whiny throats. I always loved that quote.
Well, I said beforehand, but it was never quoted correctly, because I said figuratively. That
well,
wasn't
figuratively or literally, Governor. I'm a big fan. Anyway.
Okay, hold it. I can't let you get it. That was a mistake in that this was a convention, and everyone's all riled up, and this convention's going too long. I'm in the locker room with my wife Susan and Jay Timmons, my chief of staff. I said, I'm looking at my speech. I said, this ending of this speech is just too boring. It's just too trite. And I'm thinking, what would my father say in the locker room to get the team fired up? And so and they're both telling me, no, do not say that. Don't say that. I said, no, you got to fire it up. And I said, well, I'll say figuratively. And they said, no. So, what works in the locker room in sports doesn't necessarily translate all the time well.
But it's legendary. How many decades later are we talking about it? Everybody knows.
I know. No, it was great. The crowd loved it. But in print, sometimes, and that's an example of, that would have been great for football. Not all the time. In fact, if the way politics are, you'd get penalized for unnecessary roughness, unsportsmanlike conduct, delay of game. But the way a lot of it works in Washington, especially in Washington, delay of game is how you score points, is by doing nothing.
Well, Fredericks, let me just end by saying this. I heard everybody's comments about being a legislator, and I served as a legislator for about 15 years, making you a better governor. But we had some governors that weren't legislators. Terry McAuliffe, Mark Warner, Jim Gilmore, Youngkin, Spanberger, and even Kane was not a legislator, and some of them had a modicum of success.
Yeah, but
let me just finish this one thought, Governor, and then weigh in on that.
Some of them at least served as lieutenant governor, local government, Commonwealth's attorney general ahead of time.
Right, true. Listen, if you look at Spanberger right now, I think her attitude is, I'd like to get along with you, but I am not just going to go along with you Democrat speaking heads. I don't think it bothers her that Don Scott and Scott Serville and Mamie and Louise Lucas are literally pulling their hair out right now. I don't think she cares. I think she is looking at the longer term. And for all the Republicans out there that, won't give her credit, and I can't believe I'm saying this right now because she should probably say Morrissey's my last fan, but she vetoed the casino in Northern Virginia. She vetoed collective bargaining. She vetoed marijuana marketplace. And ours across the Commonwealth would be applauding, standing on their chair and applauding if it was a Republican governor that did that. So anyway, she's going to govern from the middle. She's going to carry on, and let's see what happens as we get
after
closer.
that, we got to get Ben's take here. Ben, Joe's saying she's governing as a moderate. Republicans should be cheering like me. I mean, that's got to be driving you back crap crazy.
No, I mean, I think that, first of all, Joe's right. Like, I'd love to see Abigail's face when she finds out her last friend in the Democratic Party is Bill Maher. But, the governors that you listed, Joe, are all of the governors that were less successful. I mean, it is true that like the people that served in the General Assembly or had some experience when they came in all had stronger track records. And whether you agree or disagree with the legislation they passed, if you look at who got a lot of things through in recent governors, it would be Allen, Warner, and Northam were the three that got the most stuff, and McDonnell. And the only one that's on that list that didn't serve in General Assembly was Mark Warner, but he had been Doug Wilder's campaign manager. He was very ingrained in things. So those were the governors that got things through. And you think of which governors had problems with the General Assembly and kind of ran into the end of their governorship because of that. Think of Gilmore and McAuliffe and now Youngkin and now Spanberger, all of whom didn't have that experience. So I think it is important that you build those relationships, and I don't think she has them. And I think her success going forward will be determinative of that.
All right, guys, we're running out of time, but we have to end with who's going to win the Stanley Cup. I want your predictions. You can't pass. There's only 4 teams remaining, both favorites down 1 game. I'm going to start with Reeves. I'm going to go right around the horn. Reeves, Stanley Cup winner. And then I'll go last. Who is it?
I don't even know who's there. I haven't paid attention to
okay,
hockey
Reeves is
at all.
out. Reed.
Whoever you're picking, John Fredericks, because you track this closely.
Governor Allen.
I'm for the Canadiens, but I think that the Colorado Avalanche, that was once the Quebec Nordiques, will win the Stanley Cup. You get an advantage of playing at Mile High.
Ben Tribbett.
Colorado.
Well, we agree.
Jim Hobgood.
I'm going to go Carolina Hurricanes. I know they had a bad night last night, but I think that was because of the layoff. I think they'll bounce back and win it all.
Joe Morrissey.
I'm with Dan Hobgood, Colorado.
No, he picked the Hurricanes. Oh, Dan. No, Jim.
Jim picked the Hurricanes. Dan is in the studio with me. Picks Colorado.
Yes, Dan, not to be confused with Jim, picks Colorado.
I don't see how you can have that great of a season and that great of a team and everything's going great, and you're in Denver and not win the Cup. I think this is Colorado's year. I'm going with Colorado, but I think it's going to be Colorado-Montreal.
Which would be great.
Was going to win that series, guys. I'm telling you, they ambushed Carolina last night. It was a total ambush. They never saw the speed on that team coming, but Colorado just too tough. Guys, I want to thank the Virginia gang for being with us. Bryce Reeves, John Reed, Governor George Allen, the one and only, Ann's favorite, Ben Tribbett, Jim Hobgood, and Joe Morrissey. Thanks, guys, for being with us. This is holiday weekend coming up. Best of. We're all off on Monday. I'll see you Tuesday, 6 a.m.